What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of AOS Trash Pandas, where we tried again to get the audio right, and we'll see if we actually did it, or I actually did it, because it's actually always my fault. With me, as usual, is my co-host, partner in crime, Carson. How you doing, Carson?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Busy, but good. Very good, actually. Quite good. And special guest this week, we have stat extraordinaire Cameron Chen. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's going to be great. We're going to talk about some stats. We're going to talk about cake or death. We're going to talk a little bit about how the fact that there is no battle scroll yet, unfortunately, but we are expecting it Thursday because there was like a leak, essentially, of the battle scroll on the Italian side, and apparently it's still up, and it's literally dated for Thursday. So, barring some kind of really weird hook, problem at GW, we'll expect it for Thursday. And right at the top, I wanted to just ask if the levels are okay, if everyone can be heard in equal amounts. If not, let me know, and I will adjust it. Did you guys get a chance to see the rumor engine, which is what I actually meant to start on? Yeah?
Yep, I took a glance at it.
What do you guys think?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of the ones that it could be anything.
It could be anything, but this is like my favorite kind of rumor engine, where it's like, my God, like it could be anything, but it's so unique looking. It's not just like a pistol or some guy's hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it could be 40K, it could be AOS. My money's on AOS. But
yeah, I could see that for sure. Because like with 40K, I mean, like the first thing that came to mind is maybe it's like something Tyranid-esque, where you know how you have the zoanthropes that have like exposed brains and stuff.
Totally, yeah.
But the veins are like way more pronounced in those than this.
That's true. Yeah. Well, like, what is that shell? Like, is it wood?
I thought it was stretched out skin.
Yeah, maybe it's a banner.
Oh. Huh. Top-down view of legally distinct danger egg. That's.
What's that mean?
I don't know what it means, but I loved hearing it. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Like, I have no idea what on earth this is going to be. Like, silent ones or just like insert random guess, right? But
I mean, that'd be cool if it was, like Umbreneth something, and they just went super weird with it. But
right,
yeah, it could be anything. At first I thought it was like a torso that had like skin shredded off of its front or back or something like that, but it doesn't really match that silhouette. Just because there's like, you don't really see where like a neck or anything would be.
No.
Yeah, the prongs are so weird.
Yeah, like it almost reminds me of like some kind of weird starfish. So I was thinking maybe IDK, but I don't think
SpongeBob crossover, maybe?
SpongeBob, yeah. The crossover we've all been waiting for. SpongeBob. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. These are my favorite kinds of rumor engines. And then, yeah, the only other piece of news was like a Sunday preview for 40K that like none of us are really here to talk about, but they kind of just showed a bunch of Space Marine stuff that's going individually up for sale. You can just buy. So, yeah. And then some Imperialis stuff. We don't care about that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about cake of death or death. You decide. One of the two. It is or death, but I did make a mistake when I initially put up the title. So, joke at my own expense.
Pastries or perish. You know?
Pastries or perish. Yep. That's your legally distinct version of the tournament.
Desserts or die.
Desserts or die. Yep. I
Can't think of any others.
Alliteration is good.
Yeah. If you don't know what cake or death is, though, it's probably going to be the biggest. It'll definitely be the biggest tournament in the Lower Mainland of the year for Age of Sigmar.
For Age of Sigmar, yeah.
There's a chance that it'll be the biggest non-Games Workshop Age of Sigmar tournament in the Pacific Northwest, but we'll have to see what the attendance rates are for kippers. I know that Sparkle Party typically caps out at like 52 or something, 54.
Okay.
And then Wet Coast can go up to 64, which is 2 more than Cake or Death. But I don't think it's going to get to that point, probably. Maybe it might get close to it, but either way, it's quite a big tournament. And it's doubled in size since last year, as the name suggests. There's cake involved. It's simultaneously a cake contest and a Warhammer tournament, which is kind of fun. And another cool thing is that this year, the Prince George people are coming down and they're going to be doing the Golden Tree Man Awards, where you can kind of set up like individual models or squads or dioramas or something like that. And like the mascot for Prince George is like a tree man. So they have like this free statue thing that they'll give out as if it's a Golden Demon Award, which is super cool. So lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Gonna be a lot of fun.
It's really rad. So I think we'll move into talking about the stats behind the tournament first, and then maybe we'll start going into like talking about different lists that are in there, if that's cool.
Sure.
Cool. So
yeah. So Cameron, you've been kind of like, getting all these stats together. I noticed you post a bunch in the Pacific Northwest Discord. Do you want to kind of talk about it a bit?
Yeah, sure. I just had some time, so I quickly went through each of the lists and pulled up what I thought were the main features. So the faction, the points, the drops, number of casts, and then like I kind of categorized it in like a couple of different like army strategies. So like brawling, shooting, that kind of thing. Just curious to see where everything would shake out. I was surprised. I felt like this time there was less magic than I thought there'd be. Yeah.
That is interesting considering the the GHB that we're in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no Zinch or Lumineth, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a couple Seraphon and like a lot of Gits.
Yes.
As the main magic.
Yeah.
There's like, we always talk and make jokes about the destruction meta in BC, but I think that might apply to the Northwest in general. And
I think it's real. Yeah.
Right? And I have like, I don't know how long you've been playing for, Cameron, but I have a theory that I kind of just came up with, sort of. Like I've talked a little bit about it before, but like Warhammer Fantasy Battles was really big in the Northwest. Like it was more popular here, I think, compared to 40K and in other areas. Does that make sense? Like in other areas when Warhammer Fantasy Battles was going on, like let's say they were 98% of their sales, which is probably not wrong, right? In some areas, and like 2% here, it would have been like maybe like 70-30. Like I think it was a lot more popular here compared to other places. And I wonder if that's kind of why, because Warhammer Fantasy Battles is just about killing each other, right? It's kind of more simple in strategy. I wonder if that's why we all like killy armies in the Northwest. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting theory. Yeah.
It's going to remain a theory, obviously. There's no way I can possibly... Anyway, so I brought up the first slide. It is the armies that are in here.
Yeah, definitely it's destruction heavy. Like you got 5 ogres, 8 Gits, which is tied for first place with Sylvaneth. You've got 4 Iron Jaws, which is kind of surprising because Iron Jaws are not doing super great as far as win rates go, but they're still terrifying. So
right,
they're something to fear for sure. And then 1 big Wa. And is there any other that I'm missing?
No, some
Crew Boys. There's 1 Crew Boys.
1 Crew Boys.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. So I feel like, quite a large percentage of the tournament is destruction, which is
and
pretty
like
cool.
You can kind of honorable mention Skaven and FEC as destruction factions, even though they're not technically. They play like them, kind of. Very tiny. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty curious that we had those FBC lists because like they're gonna be playing on the old book.
They are. And I'm not sure, is one of them Mason?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because Mason
so.
He's not in there anymore, and he was gonna play FEC, but he was just like, I don't want to play with the old rules at this point.
Yeah,
So
they're kind of in rules limbo right now, just because
it is.
I think
yeah,
they're coming out the weekend of Cake or Death,
They are.
so it was just too late.
They're coming out
Unfortunately.
on Saturday. Yeah.
It's always kind of weird when they like give out the book, but it's like not really playable yet.
It kind of feels bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not playing in the tournament. I'm just playing FEC for the channel, so I'm just like, that's cool. I'm just going to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
A lot of Sylvaneth too, considering they're not exactly tearing up the meta right now.
I'm sure it's just people want to play with Belthanos. He's so cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have Belthanos except for maybe Natasha.
I think it's except for the one that has Alariel.
Yeah,
and
that's
then maybe
Natasha.
one other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny though, because it also falls in the theme of lots of destruction in the Pacific Northwest, because Belthanos is just like, everything can run in charge now, and everyone's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And like it lends itself into Kurnoff running up the field, and they're super hitty, right?
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
like
super cool that they gave Belthanos the Kurnoff keyword, so he's getting like the +1 to wound from the Arch Rev. It's very nice.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. What army are you playing, Cameron?
I'm playing Skaven. I'm
Skaven,
the 15
what?
drop list.
Oh, that's awesome. We have to look at your list if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you know this, but I do like Skaven. Like,
I have heard. These.
okay, yeah. I may or may not have like basically dedicated my channel to them. Okay. So, is there anything more we want to talk about on this slide?
I took a look at the sub-factions for like Gits and Sylvaneth, and the Gits lists are all King's Gits except for the one Spider list.
Nice.
Which is, I think, the one
that's Conan
list that's not running Scragrot as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Conan.
Oh, Conan, sorry. I think I ran into that last time. He played it at Northern Waste and went 4-1 with, I think, the exact same list, but
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that managed to slap him away was Matthias. So
right. And did Matthias take the tournament?
he did. Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Cool. Oh, what's up, Horrible? Thanks for joining us. Asri, Keith, Matthew, all you guys. Appreciate you hanging out. Cool. So we'll go to the next slide, which is count of special units.
Oh yeah, I just pulled like if there were like big heroes or big flashy units. I just wanted to see how many of those were showing up. We have a lot of Sylvaneth and Gits, and so Belthanos and Skagrot are obviously very well represented.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What does that say? Like, for Belthanos, I feel like it's too early to know how good he is. I think he's good, but I've seen some people not convinced. I
think he's kind of nuts for his points.
Yeah. Like, I don't think he's that killy, but just that buff, the speed, the commandability, the terrain changing feature, and he's kind of killy. Like, he can take out soft targets somewhat reliably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sylvaneth is one of the other armies I like to play.
Cool.
I love Drycha, and I think she's awesome, but the fact that her points are like comparable to Belthanos just makes me sad.
How many points is Drycha?
I think she's like 330.
What?
And he's like
crap?
360.
Like, she does mortal wound
effectively
shooting,
double.
but
yeah.
jeez. Yeah, that's.
Well, but she's like 10 wounds with no ward, and he's
Yep.
like, what,
Name character
14 or 16.
Yeah.
I think 14 with a 5-up. Yeah.
That's nuts, actually. Yeah, she's not worth that many points, but Belthanos is like maybe the coolest model they've ever made for Sylvaneth, so like I'm okay with it if he's a little better than his points, maybe. Scragrot is interesting. I think like Scragrot almost makes Gits function properly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they can up his points again, and like clearly, like they're sitting around a 48% win rate, over time, fairly reliably. But I guess he's just one of those things that kind of keeps the army working with his moon buff, right? But yeah,
I think he's also like a good piece in this THB just because he helped contest those magic armies.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, with his plus. Did you bring Thanquil?
I did not.
Okay, so we got one Thanquil. I was misreading it as two. Hell yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, and then the only other big pieces that you're seeing a lot of is the Maw Crusher and the Frost Lord. And the Frost Lord
I was surprised there were so many Starbrand, honestly. I haven't played against him yet.
Scarbrand, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's what he should be. He's just extremely killy. Like, he will
Yeah, if he gets
slap.
into combat, he will murder you.
Exactly.
And he does 3d6 charge, which is kind of scary, but
That's true.
he's not particularly tough. You know, he's, what is it, like 14 wounds on a 4-up save or something, or 16 wounds on a 4-up
I
save?
think it's 16 on a 4-up, but yeah, that's not...
Yeah.
And then, like, if he's in combat, he doesn't get his demon
ward,
save. Yeah. So...
Right.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dope. Cool. Should we go on to the next slide?
Let's do it.
Okay. So now we've got points or death.
Okay. Yeah, this is just like so we can look at kind of where the triumphs are. That's what I was curious about.
Oh, cool.
I'm sitting pretty happy at 1960. Do you know where you are, Carson?
I'm 1980, so I, at the very least, am going to be denying the vast majority of people their triumphs, which I'm totally fine with. I don't necessarily need a triumph to function, so.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What triumph do you usually go for?
I go +1 to wound, just because it's like
Inspired. Yeah.
to secure a kill, I guess, but I certainly don't like rely on it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm going for the reroll charge because I'm doing the 3 claw steps ahead, so shooting for those 9s.
Nice.
And then I think the person who's at 1930 is actually double triumph, if I remember correctly.
There's a couple of those, actually. I think 2 of the IJ lists have double triumph going for them, which is kind of scary to think about with like smashing and bashing, +1 to wound, like, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Or even just like denying battle shock, because a lot of armies that's like their main weakness, like gets Skaven even.
Yep.
But that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, so there's one list at 1930, by the way, and another at 1940. What? That's crazy.
Is that Mike Ham at 1930?
I don't know. I know Alex is 1950.
Alex was almost 1920. If he brought the Arcanaut Company instead of those Endrin Riggers,
Okay.
it would have been... And he would have been laughing, I feel like, if he was at the bottom of the 19... Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly who it is, but yeah, one of the Iron Jaws lists is the 1930, and then it looks like a Gitz list is 1940.
Wow. Dang.
Gitz probably wanting like a battle shock for like squig herds or something.
And maybe that's or it could be Conan's list with the spiders even. I don't.
It is actually Michael Hammond.
Okay. My
I just checked, and he's got the double triumph. 2 Bloodthirsty. Bloodthirsty is a reroll charge one, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So you can reroll charges twice for free, which fair.
Up to 3 rerolls, I guess, if you're doing a command as well in one phase.
Well, if they're using it on Squig Herd, they can't take commands, but they can get the triumph. So maybe
this is Iron Jaws.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, for the 1930. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you said gets for some reason. I see. Okay, interesting. Keith was saying, I'm curious if the city's armies are Humies or not.
I think one of them is elves.
Yeah, I think it's elves, right? Yeah.
And then I think the other one is like mixed arms human.
Oh, that's LP, right?
Yeah.
I think that's Louis Philippe, our buddy.
Louis Philippe.
Cool. Okay. And then I'll go to what may or may not be the final slide. I can't remember.
I think we had one on drops too.
Yes. Yeah, drops. So the most drops is 11.
Nope.
Wait,
I think
what?
It's 15, isn't it?
Oh, I see. There's that many people. I'm sorry. I was not. I got it. I see. Yeah, the drops is at the bottom there. What do you know? Okay. So one person. Oh, no. Yeah, one person at 15 drops.
Yeah, that's me.
Nice. Hell yeah. Skaven don't care about drops. You just don't care. It's actually kind of better to have more drops, I think.
Yeah, my first 4 drops are going to be off the board, so I just want to see what everyone else is doing.
Hell yeah. I gotta look at your list now. I can't wait. Okay. And then we've got 2 at 12, and then a large chunk of people at 5 at 11 drops, and then there's only like one person with 6, which is quite interesting. And then once you go to 5, it just like massively ticks over.
Yeah, I guess like 5 and under is like everyone who's trying to be lower drops in some way.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So 5 drops is Warlord plus Battle Regiment.
Yeah.
And then 4, 4
Command
can be...
Entourage, yeah. Plus Battle Reg, or Acolyte. No.
Acolytes, yeah. Battle Reg,
Maybe if you have
Acolytes,
3, yeah.
with all 3 of them. And then 3 can be Acolytes as well, which probably 3 is probably 1 drop plus 2 Acolytes, which is what I favor lately. And then there's a lot of 2 drops. This is the second most amount of common thing, with 10. And that's interesting. That's mostly people with 2 monsters, and they can't fit them. You know what I mean? Like 2 hero monsters or even 2 behemoths. And they can't fit it into 1 drop, so they're a 2 drop. But the most common thing is 1 drop. That's actually crazy to me, because like I don't think I have any. I think Ignith are the only army I play that I will do a 1 drop for.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's still worth mentioning though that that's 11 people that are 1 drop lists. I
yes,
think.
it is. Yeah.
And so that means there's 51 other people that they'll be out dropping still. Like it's still a lot of the tournament is going to be long 1 drop.
That's true. And I have to agree with Keith. That many Skaven armies and nobody is 13 drops. It is. I'm greatly ashamed of that, Keith. And thank you for pointing out everyone's error. How many Skaven armies were there?
3, I think. Right?
I mean, that's the other Skaven number. So.
It's... 4.
4. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I think the inclination is for most people to just go for as low a drops as they can. But anyway, welcome, Sean. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks to everyone who's hanging out and watching right now. So is there anything else you guys want to touch on the drops, or talk about the drops? No? Okay. So we'll move over then to the lists. Let's see here. Boop. And
Yes, sir.
then...
Just want to go top to bottom?
Sure. I'm okay with that.
Cool.
So, cake or death? Darn it.
First up is Alec Hayward, it looks like.
Yep.
So, roster. Okay. And then view list. Let's do it. Oh, you must be logged in to view this page. Why did it log me out? I don't understand. I will log in off stream.
I was going to say, please don't show my login.
I forgot it was even yours until I clicked on it.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Yeah.
I know in the past, Rob has used my account to view stuff on...
That's right.
And here's the password. I would like to see it, actually. Please. Yeah.
Just doxing you on your own show.
Yeah.
What was my social insurance number again? Oh,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it started with. Okay, so let's try this again. So we've got Alex with Ogre Maw Tribes, Meat Fist. He's chosen the mortal realm of Shyish. That's very interesting.
it is interesting.
Yeah.
I can take this one up if you...
Please, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do consider myself
I
the
kinda
greatest
like
knowledgeable person. Yeah. on ogres, but okay.
So yeah, Alec is running Meat Fist Ogre Maw Tribes. He's got Ready for Plunder, which is a very common grand strat, just more in enemy territory, or more wholly in enemy territory than the enemy has,
Right.
units-wise. And then for leaders, he's got a general, which is a butcher with Gastromancer and Hoarfrost. So it's very similar to what I run, except instead of a Slaughtermaster, it's a butcher. So he has access to that 18-inch mortal wound spell instead of the possibility of giving someone +1 to wound. He has a Frostlord on Stonehorn with Arcane Tome and Rockmane Elder, which just means he can cast Mystic Shield or Arcane Bolts, and Rockmane Elder is -1 to wound. Then he's got 2 units of 6 Gluttons, 3 units of 4 Iron Guts, an iron blaster, and he's also got a maw pit instead of a maw pot, which is kind of interesting.
That is.
Some interesting things to note about the maw pit is that there's one unit in his army which it could potentially hurt, which is the Frostlord on Stonehorn, just because it's only exempt for Gutbusters.
Right.
But he could be using it to kind of like screen areas, because you can place it anywhere outside of enemy territory. So you could put it like way up in their territory to like block a lane that they might want to be going down or something like
But
that.
you said outside of enemy territory.
Yep. It doesn't have to be in your territory.
So you
just
can't put it
outside of
up
enemy.
in their territory. You could put it like up near their territory.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if there's like a big lane that is like opening up right in front of like your enemy territory that you know they might want to get to, or like maybe you want to block the path between two objectives or something, that's a
Right.
good place to put it. As we said it in chat, a mop pot is huge and it can really gum up the board because it's a garrison that can only be garrisoned by butchers, so it's effectively impassable for everyone.
Wow.
It's a pretty neat list. He's at 2,000 points, so he won't be getting a triumph, but
One
gonna
drop
slap.
though.
yeah, the only thing is he doesn't have any screens, so that might suck, but he's got so much counterpunch ability that it might not matter.
Yeah. I dare say. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've
Have you played with the Mop Pit?
I have played with the Maw Pit. I'm not personally a fan of it. I just find that it gets in the way of me too much, and I find that I never really use its bonuses, and it can actually hurt me. So I prefer the +1 to cast and the healing.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, the mobility on your Frostlord is one of its keys, and then if there's like a big chunk of the board where you can't move it, that does seem like a bit of a... Or not, you can move it, but you just might take the damage yourself.
Yeah. Next up is Alex Butler,
Yep,
our bear roll.
our very own. The one, the only, the evil. Cameron, do you play KO?
I do not.
Okay, so we're all kind of... I think...
I have played this list.
Okay.
The dog is screaming in the bathroom right now. Sorry. Can you hear her?
We can barely hear
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this list is very much so just like Skyfleet. So you've got 3 Gunhaulers, you've got 15 Thunders that are going to be sat inside of that Ironclad. The Ironclad obviously can fly high and pop up anywhere and just absolutely nuke something with all of the Thunders inside. The gun haulers are really good for just kind of like going out and maybe clearing screens or capturing objectives.
Is it hard to concentrate?
It is super hard to concentrate. It's way louder for me than it is for you guys. He's got 3 engine riggers for kind of healing up the boat a little bit. An Aether Chemist with the hand-carved Nullstone icon, so just getting more on binds. The Navigator for kind of like having people's movements and moving the boats. Sorry. And then that's pretty much it. Yeah, this is a list that like really will punish someone for positioning incorrectly. And it's also a 1 drop, I think.
I believe it doesn't say.
I'm pretty
Battle
sure.
Red, yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen a lot of people have a similar reaction to KO that Holly just did. So, yeah.
Screaming uncontrollably.
Yeah, growling, gnashing of teeth. You
Yep.
know, yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
bruxing, you know.
He's also running a Barak Urbaz, which is, I think for each of his heroes, he can, it's either in the hero phase or once per turn or something like that. Basically, for each 4-up, he gets another command point. So he's just harvesting more command points. He has a 3d6 or no, I can't remember what his codes are.
Right.
And they're all thematic and more esque. So
Yeah.
KO is pretty command hungry, right?
they have a couple ones that are like mandatory that they do. So like Fly High is a really big one where they pick up their ship and pop up somewhere else. I know that they have like Run and Shoot as one that's pretty common,
And
but that's pretty much it. Like, or I guess like all out attack in the shooting phase for sure.
Unleash Hell, yeah.
Unleash Hell. That's,
Unleash Hell
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
true.
Yeah. And Asri says he's got a Nullstone Orb, which is an auto unbind to go along with the icon. for one turn, he's really going to annoy someone's spellcasting. So he's basically going to be able to unbind two. He, for those that don't know at home, he plays most often against Eric, who is an extremely strong Seraphon Starborn player. So I think that might be, influencing his choices on his list a bit. But it's a good idea because,
Yeah. It is worth mentioning, though, that the Voidstone Orb is a once per battle auto unbind, so there's just no
once per battle
whatsoever.
auto unbind. Okay.
However, because I'm not sure how it stacks with the Nullstone icon, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think the idea is you could either do 2 in one phase where you auto unbind.
You should only be able to auto unbind once, and then maybe like the infinite unbinding with the Nullstone icon.
I don't know about the Nullstone, but
that's whenever you unbind, you get another unbind.
Right.
Exactly.
So I do think though that the I think it's kind of interesting, what he's going for here. You've played it a lot more than I have, obviously, but it's a cool list for sure.
It is.
I think KO is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how it'll do in this meta, because I feel like on one hand, like the vast majority of the armies people are bringing are like these melee get in and like fight kind of type thing, which I would figure KO usually does like decently against. But I also feel like there's a lot of like command interference that's been cropping up.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if that's going to affect boats. Yeah, because like there's like Cities has a couple of different ways to do it. Ogres has something too, right? Like
the Gorgers, they have to be within 12 inches for it to matter. So it's
most things. Yeah, that's true. Cities doesn't, but I mean, like even Skaven, I'm seeing a lot more of the what's the name of the command trait where you can steal it if you're within.
I'm running it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, me neither. We've saw Devious Adversary for like years now, and then it's like, right.
Diabolical Schemer.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like that in AOS 2 too, and I used to run it at the start, but it was a 6-up, and it was, I just never got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like Cameron was saying before, like a melee army that just absolutely YOLOs into a boat. Those Thunderers are actually pretty scary on Unleash Hell because they have so many auto, like I think it's the Fumigators auto hit.
Right.
So it doesn't
straight
apply
to mortal wounds, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't think it's mortal wounds, but it's definitely straight to like wounding. And then it's just like such a huge volume of fire that it's terrifying.
Well, and Alex is a strong player, and he typically tries to normally play like really bad armies. And so it'll be interesting to see how he does with a good army, for once. He's someone to look out for. Okay, should we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Yeah, as Horrible says in chat, there's only like 60 more lists, so.
Okay. Yeah, let me know when we need to like pick things up, guys. Okay. We've got Alex, another Alex, Blades of Corn.
Alex Leslie. He's
it.
Reapers of Vengeance, which I always get the two mixed up.
Me
Bloodlords
too.
and Reapers of Vengeance.
I've given up even trying at this point.
Reapers of Vengeance is the hero. They're +1 to hit against. Their demons are +1 to hit against heroes, and when a hero dies, it's 2 blood ties instead of 1.
Right.
I think.
I think that's right. I know it's not the Bloodletter one because that's what I thought it was last time, and I was wrong.
Yeah. He's got the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, not Fury. In theory, he's got a Bloodthirster, and it's got all the standard loadout where it's going to be denying wards and whatnot. He's got Bronze Flesh, Killer Instinct.
What's the radius on the denying wards?
3 inches. It has to be in combat.
Oh, okay, cool.
Then a Slaughter Priest, which has Blood Sack, Unholy Flames.
Gross.
Sarkar Blackwing is kind of interesting. Is that a caster? I can't remember.
A caster?
I'm not sure. I think one of the other ones is running like one of the other corn lists has a caster from Slaves to Darkness, but
right.
Blackwing. Not sure.
I would have to look that up. Maybe they can tell us.
Yeah. It is a caster. So I think it's just like a cheap caster for turn 1 magical dominance, like plop it in the corner, something like that.
Is that an STD thing?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, because there's no way they have a caster in their army natively.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then another Blitz. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. A Bloodsecrator.
Yep.
And then Scarbrand.
Mm-hmm.
So some slappiness there. A
Yep.
block of 20 Bloodletters. A block of, I think, 20 Blood Warriors.
Yep.
We're just looking to gum up the field and do a bunch of murder rolls on people. 1 unit of Blood Reavers. The Gnarl Spirit Pack, which comes with Sarkar Blackwing, I think. And then Hexgorger Skulls. So, yeah. Pretty standard, like Corn,
Right.
a Bloodletter Bomb, as well as like a Scarbrand. So I guess there's 2 Bloodthirsters here, which could be a lot to deal with for some people.
For sure. Asri nailed it. He said, the wizard's there for the turn 1 magical dominance battle tactic, but I think most people can agree that it's it feels kind of gross. I'm not blaming anyone who does it, obviously, but it's just kind of like, ugh, like the anti-magic army is taking a wizard. In this meta, though, I really don't see how they have a choice almost,
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a Warlord Battalion with a Battle Red, so
Nice.
quite a few drops. 1990 points. Grand strategy is Overshadow, which is going to be hard to... I guess he has to kill all your battle line, but if he does kill all your battle line, it's going to be tough to pick up all those Blood Warriors. So
Alex Gonzalez says, is this Alex Gonzalez? He's a good player. This is Alex Leslie.
one of the Alexes.
Yeah. Don't disagree that any of the Alexes are good players. I know they all are. Yeah.
Yeah. If this is the person I think it is, I think they actually beat Matthias in a Mirror Magic Kippers.
Oh, wow.
So
Sheesh.
definitely someone to look out for if that is that person. And then, yeah, do we want to move on to the next list?
Sure. We're over there now. It's Andy, our own Andy, who just played this exact list on the channel versus you, Carson. The battle report just came out today, by the way, so check it out. So, yeah, he's got Heartwood, which is the Kurnoth Hunter one, essentially. Indomitable, I believe, is the Battle Shock Triumph. And he is rocking 1980 points, so not going to get it most of the time, but it's not super important for his list, I don't think. The Revenant with the War Singer command trait gives him the extra movement, which is really great because Belthanos, who's down below, is making everyone run and charge. So this army is extremely fast. He's got the Branch Witch with the Vespral Gem, which allows him to auto-cast a spell only from the Sylvaneth lore, and Virtuous Harmony, which brings back a Kurnoth Hunter per round. It's really good. And then he's got 3 Great Bows, Kurnoth Hunters. He's got 6 with Great Swords and 6 with Scythes. And then he's got 2 units of Tree Revenants for various battle tactics and screens, 1980 points. And he is a 1-drop, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yep.
1-drop.
Yeah.
So it's a good list. Honestly, like, no offense, everyone knows Carson's a good player, but like I think you got particularly lucky in the battle report, and Andy's list didn't really get a moment to shine because I've played against it and it hits hard and it is fast. It's really cool.
Yeah, this seems like an awesome like low magic take on Sylvaneth.
Exactly.
Using Belthanos.
And it's so nice. Like, yeah, anyway, like I don't know. I think a lot of people are kind of tired of the War Song Bomb, right? But nothing wrong with it. The War Song is a super cool model. I think a lot of people are just kind of a little tired of it. That's all. And Belthanos is awesome. So, yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll move on to the next one. Just keep things moving. Arthur Nicholson. Do you play Slaves to Darkness, Cameron?
I do not.
Okay, I will head it to you then, Carson.
Sounds good. So we've got Host of the Everchosen, which basically makes it so you can take 2 of the special banners and Warriors, Chosen, and Knights rally on 5s instead of 6s. He's got, 1980 points, so he has a chance at a Triumph, which he's got Bloodthirsty for the reroll charge. Chaos Sorcerer Lord General, who is undivided with Master of Magic, so he can reroll a casting roll, which is pretty good because one of the heroic actions is 3d6 to cast. So he knows Demonic Speed, which presumably is going to be using on that big block of Chaos Knights that are marked as Khorne. He's got another Chaos Sorcerer Lord, which is marked as Slanesh. and knows Hoarfrost, and then a Chaos Lord on Karkadrak, which is also Slaanesh. And I assume both of them are marked as Slaanesh because the Chaos Chosen are marked as Slaanesh. Slaanesh has a thing where a hero can issue a command to another Slaanesh unit so they can run and charge. So that way, the Chosen don't have to be moving their like super slow. Is it 4 inches or 5 inches?
Which one?
It's probably 5, I think.
I think it's 5. So they can be going 11 inches. They won't get the +2 or +1 to run because they're not actually rolling for it. But 11 inches is still great movement. Or maybe they do decide to roll. And then those Chosen are also going to be like +2 to charge because they already get +1, and then Slaanesh gives them another +1. And then the Banner of Screaming Flesh gives them another additional attack on the charge. So they're going to absolutely shred whatever they manage to charge successfully.
So it'll be on 4 attacks, yeah.
Yeah, 4 attacks each, like mortals on 6s in addition, 2 damage each. So that's like 40 attacks, 41 attacks with the champion. It's a lot. And then they can attack again. They attack twice. That's the special thing with the Chosen.
Do they strike last on the second one?
They do, yeah.
Okay.
Chaos Sorcerer Lords though have a spell on their War Scroll that just gives a unit +1 to hit and wound. So the Knights and the Chosen are both amazing targets for that. This is just a really chunky list. And we haven't even gotten to the other 3 units, which are, we've got a unit of Chaos Warriors, 20 of them, which are marked as Nurgle and have the other banner, the Eroding Icons. They're going to be -1 to wound, and Rend is -1 against them as well in melee. So just like this awfully tough block walking up the center of the board. And then you got 2 groups of Ogreite Theridons, which are both marked as Khorne, so they get an additional attack on the charge. And they hit about as hard as Iron Guts do. And then with +1 attack is even better. Yeah, this is a super slappy, The only thing this list might struggle with is like mobility maybe, but he's got a block of 10 Chaos Knights marked as Khorne that he can do demonic speed on, so it might not be so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Horrible was asking what the Dominating Presence grand strategy is. I don't know.
I think Dominating Presence is 1 unit in each quarter of the battlefield.
Oh, interesting.
Let me just...
And they have to be separate units, right?
Yeah. At least 1 friendly Slaves of Darkness unit wholly within each quarter of the battlefield. So that might be a little bit tough. It seems kind of like a win more strat, but...
That's true. Well, it could be like, their play style is a little bit castly, where they kind of go down the center of the battlefield, and then if some units hang back, it would, assuming that they survive, of course, it wouldn't be too hard to get it, but...
They need to keep half their units.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's true.
It seems a little tricky.
It does, but it's the kind of list that I would play if I were playing the Slaves to Darkness. Just chunky, smashy, fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems pretty scary. It's also got some decent recursion with like rallying on 5s instead of 6s too.
Right.
So, and that's applying to literally everything in the list except for the Theridons. So that's pretty spicy.
Well, and the Theridons are they're only units of 3 anyway, so, and they have like a 5-up save, so they're probably going to die if they get hit anyway.
Yeah, they're probably trading pieces.
Right. So, yeah, I think, that's pretty cool. Okay. So now we've got Brayden, who's doing Reapers of Vengeance, Blades of Khorne. Friend of the channel,
so
Brayden.
This one's going to be, friend of the channel. This one's going to be pretty similar to the one we saw Alex Leslie run.
Yes.
So it's got a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, Bloodmaster, Slaughter Priest. Actually, it's pretty Puro Light now that I look at it, but it has a massive block of Bloodletters. I think that's 30.
Well, and he had Scarbrand, didn't he?
Yeah, the other guy did too. So I just lied to you all. It's not that similar.
Whatever. The main similarity being that it's Reapers of Vengeance, right?
They have like the core Khorne pieces.
Yeah, the core Khorne pieces for sure. Claws of Karanak, big block of Blood Reavers. He has a Cygor, which is kind of interesting to get some ranged attacks in there. And I think the Cygor has anti-magic.
Unbind? Yeah, I think it has some sort of. Does it hurt wizards when they cast? I think that's it.
Yes,
I think so.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got some Furies, which are super fast, super nice for either capturing objectives or surround and destroy. I don't know what Magor's Fiends do.
I don't either. Is that the Underworld Warband with the Theridon looking, or not the Ogroid guy? Or maybe not.
Where's
Magor.
it's a corn unit. 3 models, 3 wounds on a 3-up.
Oh. That's interesting. And he also has the spells and invocations, Bleeding Icon and Wrath Axe, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Looks like it comes with a unit of 1 Fleshhound, so maybe like trading it for some blood hit points.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, for 140 points, right? That's not bad.
Yeah, you
Interesting.
can get some more of it.
Like a little bit of a, yeah. Well, and the Furies can also be screens as well. So same with them. Maybe that's a little bit better save. Obviously.
Right, and the Furies can do the Skaven runaway thing where they
That's
retreat
true.
instead of
That's true.
Yep.
That's good. Okay. That's a cool list though. We got, now we're on to Bryce Coppin.
Yep. So he is running Barak Zon Karaton Overlords, which are
Okay.
basically when they get out of a boat after they've charged. I think basically they're going to be +1 to hit and wound and strike first, I think, when they get out of a boat. So
Okay.
basically
I think
he's
so.
just going to ram into the frigate that's full of either Sky Wardens or Engine Riggers or both. And they're going to slap you super hard just because they're going to be +1 to hit and wound. They'll have strike first. And most of that's going to be damage D3 or damage 2 in like Ren 2, essentially. So
Nice.
this is just like a big alpha strike melee list. Chances are it's going to be running 2d6 and charging 3d6. It could pop outside of 9 because it's KO. And he's got a decent amount of Arcanaut Company, which I presume is for just standing on points. And yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty scary.
Yeah. I like it.
Do you know when they jump out of the boat?
When it charges. So the boat will charge, and then they do like a combat landing. So they'll get out wholly within 3 of the boat.
So is it a command to do that then?
I think it's part of the frigate. I think the frigate just allows them to do that.
Okay.
Let me check.
That's a great question. And we've seen this grand strategy twice now. Rule of the Skies. I am curious about that.
So
But
it's
it looks
assault
like-
boat.
Yeah.
So after it finishes the charge move, you can pick any friendly units embarked on this unit to disembark, and then they must be set up within 3 inches of an enemy unit. And I think wholly within 3 of the boat because it's standard disembark rules.
Right.
And they count as having made a charge move. And they also have strike first because of that. So the boat gives them strike first. It's not a command; it's just something the boat does.
Wow.
Mhm.
And that'll be in the charge phase. So they're not doing it instead of all-out attack or anything like that.
I see.
Nice. That seems really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
pretty spicy. Yeah, you have to know how to defend against it for sure.
Right. Wow. And do
Because
we-
those frigates are pretty fast, right?
Very.
Yeah,
I think they're
they are going to be moving
14.
12 inches, but
12?
I think they can. I'm pretty sure it's like a code that he has. He can make it like run 2d6, and then he can make it charge 3d6 as well, and it can run and charge.
Jeez.
So he can either just like zoop it across the board, or he can fly high, come down, and then 3d6 charge you. So he'll be charging 9 inches, but on 3d6, that's not difficult.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Averaging 10.5, and then you've got a reroll. And does he have Bloodthirsty Triumph?
Doesn't say.
Oh, weird.
He's 2,000.
Oh, he's
points.
2,000 points. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Fair enough. What's
drop-
Rule of the Skies for their...
So rule of the skies is basically, I think you have to have a boat still in the sky, and there can be no flying behemoths.
Oh.
that
Oh,
your
okay.
enemy has. So
Interesting.
In most games, it's just keep a boat alive.
yeah,
And that's, yeah.
but you control him by if you have levitate and you have a monster, you can cast levitate on that monster. That counts.
That's good to know. Wow.
I remember I wasted like 10 minutes of Will Reeves' time asking that question, like in one of our first games. He's like, "This doesn't apply to this game. You don't have levitate, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I gotta know."
Yeah. I could have
Just in case.
Levitate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up is some jerk. We don't gotta read that one.
Cameron Chen. This guy does sound like a jerk.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 Gray Seers and an Engineer. I brought Slink because I think he's really good with 3 claw steps and the wheels because he gives you a strike first.
Right.
So you're getting your extra pylons for, like 3 claw steps ahead. So when you do your first pylon in combat, everyone gets the pylon, which is really, really good with the Doom wheels.
Did they change it so it's only your first pylon now?
I think it's your first pylon in a phase, or I think it's when you activate your first unit in a phase.
Oh, weird. I haven't, ever since they changed so much of that, I haven't really even bothered with it too much. But now it's much better now that the Gray Seer on Screaming Bell is good. It used to be every time you pile in a unit, so your Doom Wheel could be piling in 4 or 5 times and just setting off mortal wounds. Okay.
So it can still kind of do that. So the Doom Wheel can get mortal wounds when it moves, because I can double speed it. So it's averaging 14 on the 4.
On the 46.
The 46,
right.
Yeah, and then doubled, so average of 28 move speed.
Indeed.
So it can get those move damage, and then the charge damage, the first pylon, the second pylon, and then if there's Death Frenzy, it can potentially do 5d3 mortal wounds to 2 units.
Yeah. That's awesome.
A lot for a little 140 unit to do.
Exactly. 6s are I see. You just wrote that in there. Yeah.
And then besides that, I also have 2 warp lightning cannons, which are just super fun. Blow up your opponent's big god models.
Absolutely. I tend to favor 3 of them, but 2 of them's probably more reasonable. Less of a
Yeah, I had 3 originally, but I cut one for the hell pit because the hell pit is just insane for its points.
For its points, it's incredible now. Yeah.
With the 2-up re-rolling, Horde Breaker.
Yeah, and you brought Tough and Sinews, I noticed before. I actually did see your
I
list
could pick
before.
it, I think, in the battle, but there's only one good one.
There, Matthias actually was rocking at one point the 1-up Mortal Wound.
Which one?
There's one where, so you know how the Avalanche of Flesh is a 2-up on wounded. It adds 1 to your that roll.
Interesting.
So it's just you automatically do mortal wounds in a bubble of 3 inches.
Yeah, I feel for me, in my experience, most of the time it's already doing all of the mortal wounds because it's a 2-up for each model within 3, and then on the charge you're re-rolling it. So re-rolling 2-ups, you basically get it all.
I've taken Tough and Sinews in every battle report. I'm not disagreeing with you in any way, shape, or form. The only other one that I have contemplated when I've thought about taking multiples was the one that makes him actually have a movement characteristic, because that's the main issue with the Hell Pit is its random 2d6 move. I often get 2 or 3 inches. Now, obviously you can put it through the gnaw hole, and that solves a lot of your problems, especially with 3 claw steps ahead, because then you can go for the better
9.
Yeah, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, the one other thing I'm doing is I have a warp fire thrower that's going to be sitting in Clan Rats, sitting in the warp grinder.
Hell yeah.
So you can pop out the Clan Rats 9 away, pop out the warp fire thrower within 3 of the Clan Rats, so it'll be 6 away.
Yep.
And then just 3-up Horde Breaker, whatever you want.
Exactly. And it's also it also just puts the Clan Rats in people's way. There's other things you can even do with that. Put it behind them even. One of the interesting things that I did notice about this list the other day. Oh shoot! Well, first of all, you do have the Ether Void Pendulum. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I tend to teleport my Gray Seer that's not in the Acolytes Battalion just up the board.
Right.
And just try to throw the Aether Void in their face. I just using the Aether Void plus the Warp Fire Thrower plus the super speedy Doom Wheels means I can hit really hard in if I have the top of 1.
Right.
And if I'm going to be 15 drops and not control if I'm going second, I want to be able to really threaten the first turn.
That's true. I also noticed you had 5 Scryer Acolytes. Is that just because points?
Yeah, so originally those were Clan Rats, but I went down to Acolytes because I want my Triumph. So I was at 1990, but
right.
Feels a little painful to lose 15 wounds.
Yeah, 15
but-
wounds, and I think a better save as well. I think they're 6 up. I mean, they can do stuff in the shooting phase, even just 5 of them, and they can run and shoot still, I believe.
Sometimes they do like some cute stuff, but mostly they're just like lookouts there for my backline heroes.
Cool. Well, that's cool. Awesome. No, I think it's really cool. And one thing that's interesting is, so you're going to be keeping maybe you don't want me to talk too much about it, but
We can talk about it.
Okay, so there, you've got the engineer there, right? And so he's going to be in the back. So usually when I use my Doom Wheel, I like to teleport him forward, because you've got Skitter Leap on 2 different Gray Seers, right? Or 3 different Gray Seers. So like a lot of the time you're teleporting an engineer forward so you can put a warp spark on the Doom Wheel. But when you only have one, you're obviously going to keep him back near your warp lightning cannons. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, generally I haven't been really warp sparking stuff unless like people come into me.
No, that's fair.
It usually like sits with the cannons.
Well, I mean, like it's kind of a catch-22, because if you take out one of the Gray Seers for the engineer, it takes out the whole point of your list of having 3 claw steps ahead, right?
So I've tried to build like other lists where you're doing like this Doom Wheel thing with the Ash Syndicate strike first, but I think this is like around the only way to do it, because the points are really tight.
It's really tight.
Once
I think
you have, like all the pieces. Yeah.
You would literally have to take out Slink, and then it's kind of works into your whole 3 claw steps ahead thing as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, very interesting. This list is awesome. It's super original, and like it's totally up my alley. It has warp lightning cannons, which is super important to me, and it doesn't spam anything, which is awesome. Yeah.
I feel like one of the weaknesses though is like the Grand Strat is okay. Baron Ice Skates is like, it's fine. You got to kill opponent's heroes with artifacts and then keep them away from the middle.
But like, what else do you do? Like, unless you go to the stupid net list that everyone's copying, like, what grand strategy do you even use? Like for Skaven, like, it's pretty slim pickings.
Maybe there's like spellcasting savant, but maybe that's just as flimsy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you made the right choice. I think this is awesome.
Thanks.
Cool. Okay, let's. I'm like, this guy looks like a jerk, and then I'm just like talking about how awesome your list is the whole time. Cameron Young is
Young
a Boulderhead, and also he's playing ogres. Yes, got him.
Yuck.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, he's running Boulderhead, which gives his monsters +2 wounds, and he can pick a mount trait on each of his heroes, I think.
Yep, up to
Instead
3.
of just 1.
Yeah.
Up to 3, that's right. Which is, it realistically ends up being each of his heroes for.
Well, he's only got 2 anyway, but
yeah,
the third one's meh. Right.
He's got the Bloodthirsty Triumph, and he's at 1970, so there's a good chance he gets it. Slaughter of Sorcery, so he just wants to kill all of your wizards. His general is a Frost Lord on Stonehorn, who is touched by the Everwinter, which means he is a priest, and he knows, I think, all of the prayers of the Everwinter. Oh no, sorry, he knows heal. My bad. Then he's got the Seed of Alvigar, which is just 2 monstrous actions once per game, so he could do his big stone horn fly and then roar something or stomp something or smash a piece of terrain or something. And Rockmane Elder, so he's -1 to wound. Then his other hero is a Huskard on Thundertusk, which has a Blood Vulture, Rimefrost Hide, which gives it a 5-up ward, and then the Pulverizing Hailstorm, which basically I think is on a 3-up. He picks a point 18 inches away, and everything within 3 inches of that point, it's either on a die roll or maybe it just happens, takes D3 mortal wounds. Also has the Pouch of Null Dust, so he's going to be punishing someone's casting phase once, which could be pretty bad. And yeah, then his battle line is going to be 2 Stonehorn Beast Riders and 2 Thundertusk Beast Riders. All of them had Blood Vulture, so he's basically going to be picking 1 support hero every single turn.
Yep.
Rolling 5 dice, and for each 2-up, it's going to take a mortal wound. Doesn't matter if there's lookout sir.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how far away they are, or maybe it's 30 inches, but it's super far. And then he's got the Maw Pot for a 1 per game heal. So yeah, this is going to be like your standard, pretty scary monster trucks list. So
You're going to want to have like a bodyguard save or something, because on average he's picking off a 5 wound hero every turn.
yeah, I mean, 5 2-ups.
That's
He's
5
probably gonna
mortal
roll,
wounds
like,
on
1,
average.
1.
Doesn't he have 6? 1, 2, 3. Oh,
I think it's 5.
yeah, he's 6. Oh no, because he's got the Frost Lord. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually that's right. Usually the other list that we saw at LVO, and we talked about it obviously a lot, was two Huskards, right? One on
two
Stonehorn,
Huskers
one on
instead of
Thundertusk.
Stonehorn.
Yeah.
Or sorry, instead of a Frostlord, yeah.
Right. So yeah, this is. I mean, who doesn't like monster trucks? You know, I think it's just awesome. But yeah.
Yeah.
Do the vultures need a line of sight?
Nope. Oh yeah, wait, do they? I think they do
check.
actually. It's anywhere on the battlefield.
Nope.
So there's
He says as he's typing in.
Pocket's hand.
Blood Vulture. Yeah.
Right.
That is visible to this unit.
Yeah. Okay.
But it doesn't have a range. It's just anywhere on the battlefield.
But that's a really good point, Cameron, because you can use terrain to your advantage to at least make it so.
And maybe hide your little heroes, but like behind the tall buildings or rocks or whatever. Yeah.
You can, but the only thing is that these are Stormhorns are just friggin' huge, so they're super tall. But also because they're monsters, they can see through woods and stuff like that. So you wouldn't be able to get line of sight blocking from that. So it's certainly possible to like hide a super small hero like right behind a massive impassable thing, but
basically you need true line of sight, or you need to block true line of sight.
Yeah.
So there'll be like a couple, like maybe like the two garrisons you might be able to sit behind. But
Right.
Other than that, not really. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. By the way, thanks to Keith for joining us. He had to take off, but he said, hit the like button, people. And I always forget to say this. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying what we're doing, please feel free to slide your mouse down over and click the like button. Yeah. Should we move on to the next list?
Let's do it.
Cool. Okay. We've got Carson Whitlock. Okay.
Ew.
Now, I'm happy to go over your list again. Has it changed?
It's the same list I ran at LVO.
At LVO. Okay.
So.
Oh, because that's right. I was gonna say. I mean, we've gone over your list so many times. Do we want to go over it again? Like, I'm fine with it, but
We can quickly go over it.
Sure, sure.
It's basically this
Fair
is
is
like
fair,
combined arms, ogres. I've got Meat Fist, so I've got +1 to trampling charge rolls. Ready for plunder, so more in enemy territory than enemies.
yeah.
I'm at 1980 points. I'm a 1-drop. I've got Inspired for +1 to wound as my triumph. The fire belly's there literally just for one spell, which is Billowing Ash, which is a 12-inch bubble of -1 to hit. The Frostlord on Stonehorn with his Arcane Tome and -1 to wound from Rockmane Elder. Slaughtermaster, which knows all of the ogre spells in Hoarfrost, and then he, in my hero phase, has a chance to give someone +1 to wound. 2 groups of Iron Guts, 1 group of Gluttons, 1 group of Gorgers instead of another unit of Gluttons, and those are the ones that can kind of like teleport down and can do command denies, and an Iron Blaster and some Noblars. So it's just very mixed arms. Like, it's not going to show up to a game and just absolutely counter them, but it's also not going to really get countered by anything specific. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if you want more detail on that, like, we've talked about this list so much after and before you went to Worlds. We did the Ogre deep dive, and he's explained it, playing it on the channel like many, many times. So you can see it in action. You can get a really deep dive on it. That's why he wasn't super enthusiastically explaining it, because he's done it so many times. You know what I never noticed until just now, though? The Noblar leader is called a groin biter.
Yeah, great.
It's
the best champion name in the game.
I feel like I can't disagree with you, to be honest. Groin biter. Oh man, I think I knew that kid growing up. So we got Chris Hall next for Cruel Boys. Do you play Cruel Boys, Cameron?
I played them a bit when they came out, but I know the points have come way down since then.
They've come way down, yeah. So I do play some Cruel Boys. He's Grin and Blades, so you can't shoot him outside of 12.
I think you can't see him outside 12, right?
You can't see him outside 12.
Either.
That's a very important distinction. Thank you. I've kind of, done the same thing as Carson here. Grand strategy is WA, which is you have to have either a battle line or your general in their in their like area, and I think then you have to kill their battle line or something. I can't remember. It's been a while, but yeah, Swamp Kala, Shaman, normal stuff.
Are
Giving
you
poison.
asking what WOG is? The grand strat?
Yeah, I couldn't remember it.
It's either the general or a battle line in enemy territory at the end of the game.
Is that the only thing? You don't have to kill.
Actually, a really good grand strat.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
not bad. Yeah, I actually took it against Will, and Will took it against. Oh, that's not out yet, but we've got one in the chamber. It's going to be Kenrick's Stormcast Eternals versus Will Reeves, Maw Grunta, Iron Jaws, or not Iron Jaws,
cool.
Big Maw. Yeah, it's a great game. I won't spoil anything, but yeah, it's a really fun one. Snatch a Boss with the super sneaky command trait. Mork's
That one's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Mork's Eye Pebble is the once per game in the enemy shooting phase. You can hand out a ward bubble of 5 up to everything within 12, I want to say. Weirden is a 4 up mortal wound save only to spells. That seems like kind of a meta pick against Starborn and other obviously casting armies. Gobsprak does Gobsprak things. I believe he has no, he doesn't have that's interesting. So he doesn't have the Acolytes Battalion, so he can't get the +1 dice, which works really well with Gobsprak when you're denying to do d6 mortal wounds every time he's denying stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's super threatening, and I think
is,
you're just using like the regular primals that are going to come out during the game, and like that
That's
means if
true.
you're casting on any low value, like
That's true.
in
You're just
danger.
like,
Yeah.
take mortal wounds, buddy. And he can do it once per game too, where he just rolls 3d6 anyway. So yeah, that's a good point. He's got 3 total Swamp Kala Shamans so he's just handing out all the poison. 2
And it
units
looks like that'll probably mostly go on like the 3 units of the Bolt Boys.
Yes, yeah. So he's got 3 units of 6 Bolt Boys each. So he's got the 3 guys to hand it out. And then 2 units of Gut Rippers, 1 unit of Slittas for Battle Line, and Dagok's Stab Lads, which I think is the older non-egg holding Cruel Boys warband, but I don't own it, so I've completely forgotten. 2,000 points on the nose. This is actually a really scary list. Like 18 Bolt Boys. Like
Go ahead, sorry.
I can usually delete like any unit in the game with 9 Bolt Boys, doing 2 mortal wounds on 5s and 3 on 6s. Like I've almost never not deleted something, and he's got 18. He's got double the amount, and that one Snatcher Boss can be handing out the 3 mortal wounds to everyone in range. It's a very strong castle army. Yep. Good luck. I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
This is actually, I think, the exact same list that Jacob Brandon ran at LVO.
Oh, really?
He was the person that
it looks similar.
that I lost to. Super close game. It's a terrifying list.
Terrifying, right?
It's castle to the extreme. Yeah.
Yep.
Spooky.
A couple of early game chaff units so that you can just delete different things at 24-inch range, and you can't see him to shoot him, but he can see you. Anyway, yeah, it's a really sick list. Yeah.
I bet the mirror match for this list is awful. Like they just can't see each
Right?
other across the entire battlefield.
Yeah, that's so true. Cool. So we got Cruel Boys. That was Chris Hall, and then we're on to Chris Lamoy. It does not say his army, but it is. Oh, King's Gits. Right on. Do you play Gits, Cameron?
I don't.
Okay, no problem. I can do this one. So it's King's Gits for the reroll on when you're trying to bring units back from the Loon Shrine. Madcap Shaman with Clammy Hand, which gives him 2. He can bring back 2 units per one of his turns, and with the King's Gits, he gets a reroll. And as it sits right now, it looks like you can actually just do that on 1 unit because there's nothing stopping you from picking the same unit if you fail both the roll and the reroll. So it's really strong. Artifacts of Power is the Moonface Moppet for -1 in the combat phase to 1 unit. Hoarfrost on him. Scragrot, which you'll see in like every list ever. 2 units of Stabas, which they're just one of the best battle line in the game. 2 units.
Sorry, wait.
Sorry. Yep.
-1 to what? From the moment?
-1 to your save. So in the combat phase, at I think it's 12 inches, he just goes, I pick you, and you're just -1 to your save. So basically, you can hand out like an additional rend from the Gobapalooza. So you can take like your like squigs to like -2 rend, and then they're at -3 rend with the moppet. Or if you if the I don't think this guy has trolls, but like if you have trolls, they're starting at -2 rend. Boonface moppet, I give you 3 or 4 from Gobapalooza, so you can get some really nasty rend bouncing around on a lot of attacks. So it's one of the better artifacts for Gits. Yeah, and then we've got 2 units of 15 Boingrot's Bounders, who are very fast and quite killy. And then he's because he's got the 15, when he brings them back, he gets 8 instead of, like half. Like if you have a unit of 10, then you get 5. So you get
the roundup.
Exactly,
nice.
the roundup, sort of part of it. 2 units of Fanatics, so you got to look out for them in the combat phase, and a unit of Sneaky Snufflers for the ward on a unit. They can't move after that, but they can have the option of possibly even getting an additional attack if they roll a 5 up in the Light of the Bad Moon. It's a very mobile list, and it's dope. Who doesn't like Gits?
Yeah, this is actually, I think the exact same list that Phil Marshall runs.
Okay.
Big Phil, who came 3rd at the World Championships of Warhammer. So, in fact, I think I faced this list against him.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, it's a lot to deal with, like 2x15 Boingrot Bounders going essentially wherever they want to go, and that's not even counting it like the teleport they could be getting from Scrygrot.
That's true.
It's pretty crazy.
I mean, I feel like they're almost just as mobile. He doesn't have the Squig Boss, which is in another list in the tournament, which makes them even scarier because he can move, like for example the Boingrot's Bounders in the hero phase, and then you can do the mortal wound thing on the squigs.
Wait, sorry, what? He's
Well-
using what?
Well, so this list doesn't have a Squig Boss, but the Squig Boss can do a hero phase move on.
Isn't that just a Squig Herd, not Bounders?
Well, I mean, like either way, you can do it. I thought it was a Squig keyword.
Let me check.
But regardless, like you could do that on one unit. You could do the hero phase move, for example, then.
It looks like that's for Squig Herd.
But like that's what I mean. Like so, this list doesn't have a Squig Boss anyway. But I'm just saying, like that is something to look out for in other lists where you can move the Squig Herd, for example, in the hero phase, and then put mortal wounds on the other squigs when they're attacking. Yeah. Thank you, because I know the chat is behind, so but thank you. Yeah, Ren 2 on the charge. Yeah, another way to get Ren 4 exactly. Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of that kind of thing floating around, and I mean, Gits are just so fun and cool. They're such a. I know why they're so represented, because they're, first of all, they have amazing models, but they're also a really fun, eclectic army that you can play. Cool. So now we've got, that's Chris Lemoy, who's obviously a very strong. The Lemoys are just people to look out for in general. And then we've got Colton Fitzpatrick with Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Does anyone know anything about OBR?
I can speak to this one
Sure.
unless you know, Cameron. But I've faced many OBR armies before. I also like that. I don't know what the context of this, but it just says my 2 dads at the top
I think
of
it's
the list.
because there's the
two
yeah.
Arcane and
Arcane
Cavalry.
and
Okay,
Cavalry,
I
yeah.
get it. Okay, there we go.
It is cool
Those
though.
are good dads to have. So this is going to be Mortis Praetorians, which are basically I think it's once per charge phase you can countercharge, essentially. So you can pick a unit that's not in combat, that's within 12 inches of the enemy unit that charged, then you can charge with that unit. So that could be kind of nice. I see he's got some Morghast, so they could be like sitting behind stuff and then they charge over top because they fly. He's got Catacross, which is faction lock 2 Mortis Praetorians, so he's in his correct faction. Arc in the Black, who's going to be there for like casting support. He's got a Liege Cavalos, which I believe is going to be issuing out +1 attack to one of his units. The Mortisan Ossifector, who's got the Gothazar Cartouche, which I think is a +1 to wound, if I'm not mistaken. Who's also got Blizzard. The general is the Liege Cavalos, which has the load of saturation. Or sorry, the diversionary tactics is -3 to charge within 12 inches of this model. So he's just going to be a big bubble of -3 to charge, which kind of sucks for literally all of the destruction in our meta right now. And then what does load of saturation do? Let me just quickly check. I knew at one point.
I'm just trying to figure out what. Oh yeah, so the Gothazar cartouche is +1 to wound within 9 inches.
Yeah,
that's good.
Load of saturation is +1 to ward rolls for the bearers. So that Liege Cavalos is going to be 5s instead of 6s.
4s. Because he has
4s
a 5.
if he's giving himself a what's it called? The command ability.
Right. Yeah, he's going to be rocking. Doesn't he already have a 5? Maybe not.
No, it's 6.
Oh, just from
Ossier.
the right. That's right. Yeah. So 5s and then took +1 to 4. So he's always rocking a 5, and sometimes he's rocking a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he's got 2 units of 5 Cavalos Death Riders, which are going to be good for battle tactic. And they do some impact mortals and they can hit. He's got like one big hammer in this list, which is those Morghast. And those Morghast are certainly going to hit hard. They've got the Spirit Halberds, which are just flat 3 damage. They're going to be getting +1 attack from the Liege Cavalos. So I think it goes from 3 to 4 attacks, or is it 2 to 3? Let me check real quick.
I'm not sure about. Did you already
3 to
talk?
4 attacks.
Oh, sorry.
So you're getting a 25% damage boost from the Liege Cavalos, which is pretty crazy. The Morghast, if they unmodified charge roll is an 8 or more, they have strike first. So I'm willing to bet he's probably going to have like a big line of Death Riders, the Cavalos Death Riders, to like screen for his army. When someone charges into it, Morghast are just like sitting right behind that screen, and they'll just hop over the screen because they can fly.
Right.
Absolutely shred whatever just decided to charge.
Yeah.
Right. And the Morghast also have these are the ones with the 5-up ward, right?
They have a 5-up ward when they're within 12 inches of any OBR heroes, and no commands within 3 inches of them.
Yeah.
So when they do counter charge, it's like it's over.
My God. Jeez. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And do you
interesting not seeing? Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I wasn't sure. Did you talk about how the load of saturation artifact on the Liege Cavalos already?
Yep, we talked about that.
Okay.
That was the plus to ward.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, I was thinking something else. Anyway, sorry.
I was gonna say it's interesting not seeing Immortus Guard in this list.
Yes,
right.
Immortus Guard are pretty big for OBR because they unlock a tactic, and obviously Immortus Guard are just fantastic on their own.
Yeah.
They're tough and they hit pretty hard, so that'll be interesting. I think this list is going to suffer from just having one hammer, essentially. I mean, like everything in it hits kind of hard, but
The heroes are pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, but the Morghast are really like the one big, gonna shred anything they touch kind of threat.
For sure.
I guess an advantage over like Immortus Guard is a lot of the things in this list move a lot faster than they do.
Right.
Yep.
And you
Kind
can.
of that flexibility.
I mean, the ability to add the +3 movement, it is pretty good too. Like they're not that slow. They're like what, 8 inches or something, or 9 inches at that point.
Right.
So, but I think that's a good point because everything else can do that as well, and they're even faster. So yeah, to keep up with everything, that is a huge advantage. Good point.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and then we got Conan. Apparently, I've been calling him Conan, I think, the whole time. My apologies again. So we've got Grimscuttle, which is super awesome. I love this. Web Spinner Shaman, Merciless Blizzard, Web Spinner Shaman, Scuttling Terrors, which is, I think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look that up in a second. But he's got the Scuttle Boss. I think that's the one near terrain. But I'll look it up in a second. Scuttle Boss on Gigantic Spider. It used to be called Cave Spider. Anyway. Command trait, Super Nasty Venom, and the Artifact of Power, Headdress of Many Eyes. So he's going to be pooping out mortal wounds. Scuttle Boss on Gigantic Spider. So he's got 2 of them because they have, I'm assuming it's because they have the ability to once per game retreat out after they fought at the end of the combat phase. So he can take himself and a unit of spider riders with him. So that's probably why he's doubling up on that. Web Spinner Shaman on a Ragnarok with the Totem of the Spider God. Oh wait, sorry. The Headdress of Many Eyes is I think the one where you can only wound them on 6s, and I think the Totem of the Spider God is the one where it's a general buff to people when they get those 6s to get the mortal wounds on the spiders. And then he's got the Ragnarok Spider with Spiderfang War Party, which is a battle line unit in Grimscuttle. Oh no, that's if you have your general is a Spiderfang, and then 2 units of Spider Riders, 1 reinforced and 1 not. And then the Skitterstrand of Ragnarok, which allows him to teleport units in Grimscuttle only. But he does have the Gobapalooza for handing out extra, random, does all sorts of stuff, +1 to hit and wound. Sneaky Snufflers for the ward, same as before. And he's got the Rippus Snarl things, which you never see, but all sorts of cool shenanigans you can do with that, messing up with people's movement and just doing all sorts of fun stuff like that. And he has the Scuttle Tide Endless Spell, which is, I think you can cast it from any terrain piece on the board, so it's got like an unlimited kind of range on it. It's really cool, and it's +1 to cast if you are if you are a Spiderfang unit. So yes, right, Headdresses only hit on 5s and 6s, which is really cool. Makes them really hard to deal with. Unless you have a Warp Lightning Cannon, but that's a thing for another day. Anyway, he's coming in at 1980 points. We saw this list at Northern Wastes. And what's funny is before we were at Northern Wastes, I was like, man, this guy's my hero. Like, I didn't know Conan at the time, but I was like, this guy's my hero. He's playing Spiderfang, and they're super bad. And then he went 4-1 and was only stopped by Matthias. So, I'm still cheering for him. This is
one of those lists where you show up to the game, he knows exactly how everything in this army works.
Yeah.
His list works, and his opponent is going to constantly be like, okay, what does that do again? And what's this? And he's just going to be dancing around you essentially as you try and just figure out what is going on with his army. So I think that's going to be one big thing to look out for, or he's going to be one person to look out for sure.
He definitely is. And he's a super nice guy, and he does amazing hobby work as well. So is the free normal move. That's what it is. Thank you. Ledivicus with the Gits hookup. Scuttling Terrors is the free normal move spell. Awesome. Cool. So moving right along, we've got Damon Deline here. With an Iron
David
Jaws.
is the host of Dude Sigmar.
Oh, cool.
Or co-host, rather.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Yeah. They're on Legion of Night. Looks like doing Empire of Corpses. So that means they're going to bring back 3 of their.
Oh, sorry. I think.
Oh, right.
I think you're on the wrong one.
I think you're looking at Daryl Martin's.
Oh, did I skip ahead?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, we're not that far yet. Damon is Iron Jaws.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, Cameron, do you know about Iron Jaws?
Generally, but I don't really know their command traits or artifacts.
No, I don't.
I can do a quick overview on this
cool.
because
cool.
It's Iron Jaws. They want to run at you and they want to slap you hard. He's got 2 mega bosses on Maw Crushes. The big things here is that he's going to be on a 3-up save characteristic instead of 4, just because of the weapon option he picked. The mega boss that has Fasten is going to be able to move twice, once per game. They both can issue 3 commands in the same phase. And so basically they can do a triple all-out attack, a triple redeploy, a triple Mighty Destroyers or something like that. He is Tachapas, which I think means that 1 War Chanter can issue up to 3 +1 damages, but I think it has to be brutes every time if he does that. Otherwise, he just picks 1 unit and it's +1 damage. He's got... I'm not sure what Hulking Brute does as the command trait. Destroyer is +3 damage once per game or something like that on one of his weapon characteristics. And I can't remember what Minan does.
I think Minan is D6 when it does stomp. So it's going to be D6 +4 at top profile or something.
And
Right.
then I think you can like wombo combo that in if you destroy something to get more. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's got one War Chanter. He's got a Weird Knob Shaman with Horde Frost. He's got 2 units of 5 Brutes with the standard weapon options, a unit of 10 Hard Boys that have Trappas and not Stickas. He's got an Aether Void Pendulum, and then he's got 2 groups of 3 of like the standard Pig Riders, the Gore Gruntas.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an Iron Draws list through and through. He wants to run at you and he wants to slap you, and he's going to do it hard.
Yep. Well said. Okay. And then we've got Danny, our very own, with another Gloomspite Gits list. They are also popular around these parts. King's Gits, so same as before. Triumph, of course, is Indomitable. Moonface Moppet, so that's the -1 to your save in the combat phase. Blizzard on him. Hoarfrost on the second one with the clammy hand rather. So that guy's probably going to be hiding behind the Loon Shrine because he's just there to be bringing back your 2 units per one of his turns. He has Scragrot, which is awesome. Everyone knows, and you like him if you play Gits, and you probably don't if you don't. Squig Boss, which is what I was talking about earlier. So he's got the Bounders there. And I believe, he's got a unit of double reinforced Squig Herd. So you could do that combo where he's moving them up. And don't forget, Scragrot has the whole lore. So he can cast Squig Herd when he needs it for the free reroll on the Squig Herd on their charge. And he's got the 15 Bounders. So he's got a lot of access to mortal wounds and fantastic movement. Gobapalooza with the Loon Smasher Fanatics, 2 units of Loon Smasher Fanatics, which can hide in the Gobapalooza. They can hide in the Stabbas. They cannot hide in the Squig Herd. Any unit with Squig in it, and that does not include Sneaky Snufflers. They do not have the Squig keyword because they've got like Truffle Squigs or something like that, and it doesn't get it for some reason. So they could hide in there, Gobapalooza, and the Stabbas. They cannot hide in themselves. 1980 points, double Battle Reg, and an Endorian Acolytes. So he's rocking what? How many drops is that?
4 drops.
4?
Yeah, probably 4.
Okay. Because he's got Scraggy. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Do you know what happens when 2 Gits like play against each other? Like who controls the movement?
I believe they roll off.
Of the moon.
I'm almost positive they roll off. I haven't done it yet. I have not played against Gits. I wanted to do like a, and I think Ledivicus would totally be into this, but I was thinking about doing like because I used to do Skaven Civil Wars on the channel, and those don't get views though, right? Like it's not the kind of thing you do as a channel if you're looking for views, because then you're only like sourcing out the one army. But I do it because I just like it. I think it's fun. So I was thinking about doing it with maybe Kenrick or Danny or someone, and just that gives me a good excuse to get out my Gits army, because it's kind of gone into semi-retirement because there's so many local Gits players after the book came out. But yeah, anyway, I'm almost positive that they have to roll off. So
okay, does Scragrot still have something about controlling the movement as well?
No, he doesn't. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, you can freeze it once.
Right. So then both
he basically decides where it is once.
Well, yeah,
so
he
both
basically
Scragrots would be able to do that.
He decides whether it moves or not.
Does he?
Yeah, and it's before you do the roll off for the turn.
So how do you decide like which player is getting to use their Scragrot?
That is, well, I guess either one could do it, right? That's a crazy interaction that I've never thought about before. I thought you were talking about the very start, because one player gets to choose where it goes, and that I'm almost right.
Before you roll the dice,
yeah,
you can say that Scragrot will reveal his prediction. If you do, don't roll the dice. Instead, he gets to choose. But I'm not sure who gets to choose if you have two, and they both want to use it.
So,
someone in the comments say they roll off each turn.
Oh wow. That is wild. So they roll up. I mean, he only gets to do it once per game. So I guess once someone uses it, then it's up for grabs thereafter. That's interesting. Huh. Well, and what you could do too is you could wait like do you want to use your Scragrod ability, you know? And then like if they say yes, then you like find out maybe what they're doing. And then you're like, okay, well that's what I was going to do anyway. So you can have it. You can control the moon, right? And then later on you want to move it, maybe I don't know. Wow. That's a great question. I'm glad that we figured that out. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And now we're on to Daryl Martins. I'm Legion of Night.
Did you want to do that one, Cameron?
Please. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I like Silverwood. Yeah, so they have Empire of Corpses, so they're going to need to bring back 3 of their summonable stuff.
Cool.
And it looks like, they're taking 2 units of Fellbats, Graveguard, Skeleton, 2 more units of Fellbats, and Black Knights. So there's a lot of things. So if their things are dying, then that Grand Strat is going to be very hard to deny. And then this is Legion of Night, so once per turn when there's a charge, they can countercharge similar to OBR. Manfred also can countercharge on the redeploy, and whenever he charges, he gets to strike first. So that's going to be kind of scary. He can kind of sit behind a screen of bats and then fly out and smack whatever you were coming in with. The White King, which is the general, is going to make those Black Knights. That's a reinforced unit of Black Knights do more mortals. So that's 10. So they're probably going to do like an average of 10 mortals on the charge. There's the Necromancer with Morbag's Claw, so it can just stand there and give out the +2 to cast instead of moving, which is going to power out the Blizzard, Hoarfrost. And then Legion of Night is just super tricky because they have the heroic action to teleport their vampires, which they can do in your hero phases as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's super good. Yeah, you're like, I'm going to, kill that guy as part of my strategy. And then, oh, bye.
I was in the corner. Yeah.
I'll see you next turn. Yeah. And with the Morbag's Claw, is it a 12-inch range on that?
I think it's, fully within 12.
Right. And then in exchange for moving. Right on. That's cool.
Yeah, so they could potentially do like Morbag's Claw on the Necromancer and then like teleport the Vampire Lord closer to cast
a
Pendulum with a bonus to cast or something.
Right. And it's each turn, like you just get to choose, right? It's not once per game or anything, right? Okay. Wow. Yeah. Something about it changed from 2.0 to 3.0 and made it, now it's better, but I just don't remember what that is, unfortunately. But cool. Yeah. And Fellbats are battle line in Legion of Night.
Yeah. I guess one interesting thing is it looks like there's a reinforced unit of Fellbats.
Right.
Fellbats, if they kill any models, then they all get +1 attack for the rest of the game, and that can keep stacking up. So potentially you could have these Fellbats running around, and they're damaged too, so with no rend. So if you Hoarfrost some Fellbats, maybe they could do some work.
God dang, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Aren't they like hitting on 3s and stuff too? Or are they 4s?
They're 4s and 4s base.
4s and 4s? Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a great idea though. Yep, skeletons, more Fellbats. Wow, he's got 4 units of Fellbats and one of them's reinforced. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Knights. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, now we've got Darren McInnes in Sylvaneth. Would you like to take this one?
Sure. This is Gnarl Root. So once per turn, they can do a 3d6 cast, drop the lowest. It's also dwindling, so they're going to get a reroll on an unbind, a dispel, and a cast every turn.
Right.
This list looks like it's pretty hero hammery. Yeah, because we got Durthu with the Gladys, which means an extra D3 of his big damage 6 attacks.
Yep.
There's Belthanos, which is going to just make the army very chargy and smashy. And we have like a regular Warsong Rev with Spite Swarm Hive. Yeah. So this is really going to missile in like the Belthanos and the Durthu to just pick pieces off and jump back to safety.
Right.
They're also running the Tree Lord Ancient with the Gem and Throne of Vines, which is very cool. So they're going to be auto-casting Throne of Vines on the Tree Lord Ancient, which will make it heal 1 wound in every phase. So if you get like stuck in combat with something that can't kill it in one go, it's going to be healing like 6 a turn.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's every phase, but a lot of people just don't even think about that statement. They think it's one per turn. It's not. Yeah, every phase. So
No, it's like-
movement, battle shock. Like what? Yeah. So it's a good point. And then 2 units of tree revs, 1 of dryads, Spite Swarm Hive, very popular. I mean, with the Spite Swarm Hive too, and then you've got Belthanos, it's just like overkill on movement, hey? And charges.
Yeah, you can really like take those. Like Dirthu is not like fast normally, but with those pieces, he should be able to get in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dirthu's a speedster. He's the Flash. And then the Spite Rider Lancers are the non-reviving version.
Yeah, this unit's probably to kind of just like move quickly and like harass weak units on points.
And don't they
get
get
strike first on the charge? Yeah.
And there is a battle tactic with them, right?
I don't think there's a specific one for that.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's like
I can't remember.
there's one where like you charge and you do a teleport, but you can strike and fade like do that with kind of anything.
Right. Yeah, I thought there was something else, but I've never actually played the army. I've just been an enthusiast for the past like 6 years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, the Lancers are normally pretty fast, but with Belthanos, they're going to be
oh my gosh, yeah,
really, really bad. So
Flying.
I'm sure they're going to be playing like the sides of the board, taking off like whatever objective like the main army is about.
right. And then also there's the like other normal battle tactics like surround and destroy and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And the tree revs are super good at that. Yeah.
right. That's true. Cool. And then we've got Cities of Sigmar. Who would like to do this one?
I can talk about it a little bit. I've played like some human cities. I know that this is elves. Do you have? Yeah. So it looks like we
Thank you.
have two sorceresses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Settlers Gain. So this is the one where if you have a Lumineth hero nearby, your casters all get +1 to cast. So that's why we have the Cenari Calgrave there. 3 sorceresses. And the spells you're really going to be looking out for is that Tenebral Blades. And because that is going to make your elves hit with like basically infinite rend, setting the target's save character to nil.
Wait, sorry. What does the spell do exactly?
You put Tenebral Blades on an elf unit.
Okay.
And when they attack with their melee weapons,
Yeah.
The defending unit save is set to 7.
Right. It's set to dash.
Just a dash.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So with a +1, could you get to a 6-up?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, gotcha.
I think,
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I think the Blackguard might
Thanks.
they do have a pip of rend. Yeah. So you'll need a +2 to get your 6-up. At which point is it even worth it?
Well, then how would you even
Yes.
do that? Because like, or I guess you could give them, what do you call it? What's the spell? Mystical Shield,
Sure, yeah.
right? And then also all out defense, and then you're rocking a 6-up save against -1 attacks. Like, geez, yeah, that's
Mhm.
wild. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
I'm not sure what the Blackguard do, but we have 2 reinforced units of them. Unit
So
of
the thing
Dread
with the-
Spears. Yeah.
The thing with the Blackguard is that it's a mutually beneficial when they're within 3 inches of a sorceress. Both units have a 4-up ward.
Right.
Oh.
Ward.
Okay.
That's
So
cool.
they're going to be super durable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you can roll 4s. It's the Night Haunt
It's
conundrum,
No,
unfortunately.
but you said ward, not save.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So they get a save, maybe.
Yep.
And
But
then-
they're also, I think, a 4-up save base and 1 wound each or something.
That's really
Like
good,
it
though.
can swing, you know. I think that's kind of what. So Noah Singh ran at LVO a list kind of similar to this, where he
Yeah.
had a whole bunch of Blackguard and sorceresses, and I think he learned the hard way that like a 4-up ward is great, but a hammer is still going to like absolutely shred through a 4-up save, and your damage will like diminish significantly for each model you lose, right?
Yeah, but I see. They're 140 per 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So 280. So almost 300 points. Okay.
20 wounds on a 4-up save, or realistically, it translates to like 40 wounds.
But my
Yeah,
but
God,
still.
4-up
It's
ward.
pretty durable.
Yeah.
It is
it's
pretty
still
durable,
pretty
for sure.
durable. Yeah.
And then on top of that, they're running 2 blocks of 10 executioners, which are. I was taking a look at this board scroll earlier. They're pretty similar to Graveguard in that they're these 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. So if you have no save against these like big block of damage 2 attacks, they're gonna really kill things. And then Dark Riders can take your commands if you issue within 12 of them on a 5-up.
Whoa. Are those like the Cold One Riders from Fantasy?
I only started playing in
Fair.
30,
Sorry, yeah.
So I don't know if yeah.
Do they look like they're riding like dinosaurs?
I'm not sure.
No problem. No problem. And okay, that's pretty cool though. I think this list is actually really good.
Too is that it's issue command within 12 inches, not receive as well.
Right.
So if you have a hero that's pretty far back,
Okay.
issuing commands, it's not gonna mess with them too bad.
Right. Still, it's a pretty.
But if the unit
funky
issues
list.
to themselves, that applies too. So
Right.
Mhm.
That's true.
The command trait on the sorcerers, is that the one Unparalleled Duels? I think that might be the one where if you miss attacks against them, you take mortals back.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so they get into like a block of zombies will like kill itself.
So what? Sorry. What? How do they get that?
it says it's a
Let me
command
look at
trait.
it. Yeah.
Oh, the
for
command
each
trait.
hit
I'm sorry,
roll-
I just missed that. So
For
unparalleled
each hit roll for an
parallel
attack
duelist.
made with a melee weapon that targets this general that does not score a hit, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound
Yeah.
after all of its attacks have been resolved.
So you might kill the sorceress, but then you might wipe out your own unit.
Yeah.
You probably would if you said like you're using zombies or skinks or something that hits on 5s.
Anything that hit, yeah, if that really wants to fight into like clan rats or skinks, yeah, they're just
Yeah,
gonna annihilate themselves.
annihilate themselves. Oh man, that's funny. Wow, yeah, that's coolest. Good to move on.
Yep.
Cool. Cities of Sigmar, and then we've got Eric. Are you into Seraphon, Cameron?
I don't know Seraphon that well.
Cool. I have a soul and like some humanity left in me, so I only play Coalesced, but I can take a stab at this. So it's Starborn, of course, Fangs of Sotek, which is the triple redeploy and free redeploy on the first 2 units of Skinks. Spellcasting Savant, is the grand strategy. Triumphs Inspired, so that's +1 to wound. Slan Starmaster, command trait Lord of Celestial Resonance. I'm actually blanking on that. Do you remember, Carson?
I think that's that must be the one whenever
cosmic
you
power.
unbind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you want to say?
Sorry.
You just get more cosmic power points for casting and unbinding, I think.
Right. That's right. Thank you. Comet's Call for the far away mortal wounds. Merciless Blizzard if you get up close. Starseer can hand out a ward save to a certain amount of units on a 2-up depending on the battle round. So the further along they go, the more units they can do that. 2, Speed of Huanchi is the skink lore for. Oh wait, no, sorry, that one's different because I'm working on Coalesce still. In Coalesced, it's Run and Charge. I think is it just a
moving the hero
I think
phase.
it's moving the hero. Yeah, and then we got Lord of Croak, who everyone knows and loves, of course, for the lots of mortal wounds. Astrolith Bearer for the 6-up ward and the +1 to their spellcasting. Starseer, another Starseer with Celestial Harmony and Hoarfrost. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. So he can be twice per game. He can hand out a ward save, and also the skink Starseer has his War Scroll spell is to get rid of your ward save. So that's pretty good. We got 10 Raptidon Chargers, which are just great, fast, fairly cheap, effective units. The Saurus Guard are probably there to be a bodyguard for Croak and or the Slan. 10 Saurus Warriors for just pretty hardy chaff. They have +1 to save if they're on an objective. They, of course, do not have the -1 damage because they're not in Coalesced. 10 Skinks for just cheap chaff, and also probably for the battle tactic to have them on an objective, take over an objective rather. Then he's got the Ether Void Pendulum, Chronomatic Cogs, and Maelstrom. So this list just poops out Mortal Wounds, and that will allow people to fill out their bingo card, because I said poop. Yeah, it's it's kind of like Eric's been kind of running this list very well for a while now. He's definitely one of the players to look out for. Extremely good at the game in general. But yeah, it's not doing anything that you probably haven't seen other people do, with their Starborn. But yeah, it's a really cool list.
Yeah, and the OBR players didn't hold up their end of the deal, and none of them are running Null Myriad.
No,
so
isn't that wild?
Thanks, guys. These Seraphon players are just going to be running.
Man, yeah,
they're running wild.
Yeah, if someone, it's got to. Everyone has to do it for it to work, right? So
yeah.
Gotta hope just Corn gets in there for us.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Danny says, yeah, thank you. You just roll off. You probably didn't catch up, Danny, but we appreciate you, helping us out there. So pustule flag for rumor. Oh, wow. That's wild. Oh, cool, Bahamut. I didn't think about that. Thanks for joining us, by the way. 2 points per cast. All right, I see Cogs is there to stoke more CPPs too. That's a great point. Cogs giving out the extra cast just makes him able to farm more celestial points to do more things, bring in more units, or just poop out even more mortal wounds. Yeah, it's wild.
I think they get bonus cast when they dispel endless spells too. So maybe like unbinding their own Cogs every turn.
Right, maybe. I didn't remember that actually.
Yeah.
They do, which is why you should. So they might leave their endless spells up until your turn,
right?
And they'll use their board wide dispels or board wide unbinds to just unbind their own stuff. Which is why, if you can, in your turn, unbind their stuff. Otherwise, they're getting cosmic power points that they're probably going to use to summon Raptidon Chargers.
That's assuming you have the extra to also, because you also want to deny their own casting.
No, this is in your turn that you would want to do that.
Oh, I see. Right.
In my opinion,
it's worth it no matter what.
Just don't cast your spells.
Just don't. Yeah, that's fair.
They're going to be +3 board wide unbind. It's just not worth it. You're just feeding them.
It's for each one.
Yeah, they get 2 cosmic power points for each unbind. So it's just just don't do it. Don't cast your spells. It seems like you want to, but you don't.
What? That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even remember that at all, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Grayson Walker is coming in with Skaven. Would you like to take this, Cameron?
You can talk about it if you'd like.
I mean, why don't we both talk about it? Why don't you lead the discussion in this?
Okay, so we have Thanquil with 4 of the braziers. That's the melee one, right?
That is the melee one, yep.
Yeah, so this Thanquil is gonna, if it gets into combat, it's gonna have a lot of damage 3 attacks, I believe.
Yep.
We've got an Engineer with Horrorfrost, a Claw Lord. Do you know the Warpstone? Is the Warpstone Charm the -1 to save?
Yeah,
next
and
to
then
it,
in your hero phase, you roll a dice, and on a 1, you take D3 mortal wounds.
Right, which is actually good for the Claw Lord, because it gets more attacks based on how many wounds are on it.
That's true, yep.
We've got a Vermin Lord Warpseer as the General. So this is handing out the aura of Bravery 10, which is very nice for Skaven.
That's true. And it also counts as 2 for your 3 claw steps ahead. Yeah.
Right, and Thanquil is the third one. Yeah, so they have 3 claw steps.
Indeed.
Do you know what the staff does?
The Staff of Rightful Supremacy is, I think it's once per game within 13 inches you can unbind a spell or endless spell, and then it's, oh man, I better look it up. I think it's something like that.
But they also have Flaming Weapon on the Warpseer to make their general a pretty credible threat.
Yeah. 6 attacks on them. Whoops.
Looks like we have Clan Rats, Reinforced Storm Vermin, and Storm Vermin have a bodyguard, but the bodyguard is extra good for the Claw Lord. I think it's on a 2-up instead of
a 3-up. Yeah, Claw Lord. Yeah, that's right. Wow.
The Clan Rats will be bodyguarding the Master Clan heroes as well, and then
that's on a 3-up. And you have to do it, and obviously a good player will, just keep 1 or 2.
Just pull the models if they want.
Exactly. Yeah, within 3. But
We got a Hell Pit, just like with the regular good value ability on it.
Yeah.
A Doom Wheel with 3 class steps ahead, so it's going to be doing the extra mortal wounds as well. A Warp Lightning Cannon, a Doom Flare, which will be hiding in one of the Clan Rats, Stormburn, and or Clan Rats. And it can pop out and has a pretty, like, an okay number of Ren 2 damage to attacks. Surprisingly good for its 60 points. Then we're also seeing the Warp Lightning Vortex to do some AoE mortals.
Yes,
Yeah, this list seems like kind of similar to mine. They have like 2 of these like big monster heroes in it, instead of more of the war machines, but seems exciting to play.
I kind of like the Master of Magic command trait on the Warp Seer, because his War Scroll spell is the half your charge, and it does mortals. You don't really see it anymore because the Warp Seer was kind of considered really bad for really long, but yeah, sorry, my app, you know, every now and again it like poops the bed or whatever, and like it just won't let you open up the stuff that you own on your own app. It just did that, so I had to reopen it. But the Staff of Rightful Supremacy, subtract 1 from casting rolls for enemy wizards within 13. In addition, once per battle, in your hero phase, when a friendly unit attempts to dispel an endless spell that is within 13 inches of the bearer, that endless spell is automatically dispelled. Do not make a dispelling roll.
Okay. The -1 to casting it is pretty nice.
It's not bad, especially on the Warp Seer, which is fairly durable. The Warp Seer is the most durable of all the Vermin Lords, with the +1 to its save from its orb. And then it's, got the 5-up after save, so, yeah.
And Thankful's going to be, like, denying some spells, right?
Yeah.
He's got, like, +3, I think?
+3, unwounded, +1 if he's near a gnaw hole. So he's rocking +4 to cast and unbind. And so if you have Acolytes, it's scary. It can be really rough. But people weren't taking him because he doesn't interact with the surfboard anymore.
Yeah, I think that's when they changed the surfboard. It was a sad day for Thankful. I also used to run it with my Durthus with Arcane Tome, but that's no more either.
Awesome. Exactly. Yeah, Ledivicus, I do it for you guys. Okay, that's the second one. So in case people weren't paying attention. Okay. Yeah, this is really.
Should we go to the next one?
Yes. Hillary.
We're not gonna make it through all these lists, boys.
Right. I'm gonna have to go kind of soon.
Okay. Okay. Well, we will. Let us know.
I'll sit in for one more list. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. We've got Hillary's, Fuithin, Idoneth Deepkin. Do you play Deepkin, Cameron?
No? Nope.
Cool. No problem. So we got the Achillean King, Unstoppable Fury command trait, which gives him +2 attacks, only of course on his weapons, not on his mount, per unit that he's in combat with, essentially. So, or within 1 inches actually. So you can really, he's basically just becomes a super killing machine when he's in high tide. Artifact of Power, Arcane Tome, which is really good. Hillary likes the Savage Ferocity, which is I think it's +1 to his attacks on his mount. I think most people favor the Void Chill Darkness for the -1 to hit to keep him alive, because he's pretty much killing anything anyway. But now that he can't take what's it called? Flaming Weapon anymore, it does change the math quite a bit. But the -3 rend is pretty good. He's taking Fuithin, so he's got 2 Bloodthirsty Shivers, so 6 Sharks, which is why he's running the double Battle Reg, because each one is an individual unit. So you're starting out with 6 drops, so that's too many to have in a single battle regiment. And then a unit of Reavers that's double reinforced, which I think are really good. Yeah. And then, wait, is it triple reinforced?
Double.
Yeah, double. I think.
Double?
320? Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're 160 now. They were 170 before. And so, anyway. Leviathan, which is handing out, with the Reverberating Carapace, is handing out +1 to the save at 15 inches to all the sharks and everything in range. It also makes the Namarni a little bit better, but it's not as applicable to them as it is to the Thralls. Double Battle Reg, 1980 points. It's a great list. we're seeing it a lot. I don't know that this, will survive the battle scroll on Thursday, but it's a really fun list, and I think it's going to be fun even after. I just don't think it'll necessarily be as good if they decide to touch it in the battle scroll. Yeah.
Yeah, the sharks are just really efficient.
They are. If you can just roll those sixes. Like, I've tried out like a very similar list like 3 or 4 times now, and I just never roll the sixes every single time. And so it's like, I know this is better than I've experienced. I just haven't experienced it. But yeah.
Do you know what the shiver does as well? Is that the like extra explodey hits on sixes?
The shiver, yeah, it's exploding sixes on melee and shooting, and on the riders as well. So currently, everything gets exploding sixes, shooting and melee for all of those. It used to have to be, they had to be within a certain distance of each other, and it was only on one of the sharks in the unit. It used to be so bad, but you could get double exploding sixes if they were in range of 2 of them. But who cares, right? And it wasn't on the riders, and it wasn't on the shooting attacks, and now it's on everything. It's just way better. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Assuming the battle scroll comes out on Thursday, it's going to be interesting, like seeing everyone's lists and how they're playing, and be like, that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be.
It's true. I think, the interesting thing too is it's like, we're assuming that by worlds, I mean, it's pretty certain that we're going to be on a new edition anyway. So it feels like, how before, like at LVO, everyone would be like, well, who really cares? Because the battle scroll came out and now none of this really matters. And even though LVO is obviously a cap on the year, but this year, it all matters. Like, because none of it's going to be the same at the end of the year anyway. So it's all like super relevant, I think. It's just a matter of like, who and what, but yeah. But yeah, no, this list is really cool, and he does have curse on the soul scryer, so you got to be careful if you get too close, because that many exploding, or I mean, the exploding hits don't matter, but like it actually nullifies it. But when you've got like that many attacks on the sharks, if you get curse off, it can be brutal. Like,
I'm sure curse is great with the reavers too.
Yeah,
they don't have
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's against the enemy unit. So like, even if it's Archaon, you're just like, okay, I'm putting it on Archaon. And then now all of my shooting is 6s in addition are mortal wounds. Like, it can be wild. So you got to be careful. But
All right. I think I got to get going, but thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, Cameron. It was an absolute pleasure. And hopefully have you on again.
Yeah, I'd love to. Take
awesome. Care. You too. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
And then there were 2. Yeah.
We move on to
the amount of silliness just like went up, like percentage wise. Yeah.
That's true.
I've got to say poop at least 3 more times just to, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries.
We've got Jared Rushton for Heartwood Sylvaneth. How far are we through this, by the way?
He was, how far are we through? Here, let me do a quick count. 2.
I'll pull up Heartwood. And also take a sip of water because my throat is very dry.
We're not halfway yet. We're like 23 in, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're not going to be able to finish. Maybe we should start. Actually, why don't we, because we've done so many Sylvaneth lists.
Well, let's do this one because Jared is in my DMs, and if we just duck out immediately before doing this one, he's going to scream at me probably.
Please, absolutely. I do want to mention Ludivicus. So I was not using square corner dice. I was using Kraken dice and Kraken dice are like known for rolling well. I was not playing on stream though. I was just trying out because I don't have my sharks painted up. So anyway, please go on. My throat is starting to go. Like my voice is actually starting to go.
Oh no. So yeah, he's running Heartwood, which I believe gives him a 6-up ward when he's near trees, right?
No, this Heartwood is the Kurnoth Hunters, our battle line, and you pick
you're right.
3 units to be +1 to hit against.
Right, my bad. Spellcasting Savant, so he just wants his Warsong Revenant to be alive at the end of the game. He has Belthanos. He has a Warsong Revenant, which we said. So he's going to be doing Warsong bombs. Spell Singer, which I believe is that casting through trees.
Yes.
Yes. And then an Arch Revenant, which is going to be passing out +1 to wound for the Kurnoth Hunters, which will include Belthanos and those 2 Kurnoth Greatbow units. He's got a Branch Witch, which has Acorn of the Ages, which I think just spawns a tree. Virtuous Harmony and Merciless Blizzard on the Branch Witch. Gotrek, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be, especially into this meta where there's like lots of destruction, multi-damage attacks. He's just saying, haha, no. So that's going to suck for some people. That being said, if he runs into a Khorne player, it's kind of over, or anything that can shut off his ward, that's really, really bad. He's got 2 units of 3 Kurnoth Greatbows. Those are just for kind of like picking things off from afar.
Well, and with the +1 to hit, if he chooses his targets well, it's really awesome because they're hitting on 4s normally, which is super annoying.
Yeah. He's got some Tree Revenants for kind of just like teleporting around the board, securing some stuff, and the Spite Swarm Hive for plus the charge.
Yep.
Got Enduring Acolytes and a Warlord Battalion, which he's chosen the spell enhancement for.
Yep.
He's a lot of drops. I don't know how many drops. I think everything in this list, because he doesn't have any battle reg.
Any battle reg, yeah. So it's cool. And then he's got I think you already said it actually. Never mind. You already said Merciless Blizzard on the Branch Witch, which I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So this will be an interesting list to see too. Definitely Hero Hammer, as like Cameron was saying before, but it's it'll be cool.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a cool list. Yeah, you got to look out for Gotrek, but he's pretty slow, so cool. You can work around that.
Do we want to go like speed mode?
Yeah, I think so. Like, unless there's something like particularly interesting.
Okay, so we got Jeremy Cooper's Iron Jaws. Ludivicus asks, how many uncontrolled Starborn were there? There's going to be 2 Starborn players at the tournament, I think, and then 1 coalesced. So
right.
The problem is that the 2 Starborn players are Eric, which I know is a good player,
he's an
and
amazing player,
Matt Beasley. So
oh God, I forgot. I forgot. Matt Beasley, like famous, like really strong player.
Team America, yeah.
Team America. He was like in the top 20 in the world this last year on the ITC. Yeah, very, very good player.
Very good player. So Jeremy Cooper's Iron Jaws, he's doing Bloodtooths, which I think is the like extra pylon after
Pig or Battle Line, yeah.
Yep. He's got 2 War Chantas, a Weird Knob Shaman with Shaman of the Chilled Lands, Web Spinner Shaman ally, which is kind of interesting, and 2 War Chanters and a Makrasha. This is just a ton of, what is that? 12 of the Battle Line Pigs,
right.
10 Brutes, and Iron Skull's boys. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot. It's gonna be super fast and it's gonna hit you hard.
Right.
Next list, Jeremy Lemoy, Sylvaneth. This one is gonna be also Heartwood, also Spellcasting Savant. We've got Belthanos, we've got Drycha in this list, which is pretty interesting. 320 points. An Arch Revenant for the General, who has War Singer, so they can cast through trees. Spirit of Dirthu, Branch Witch with Best Pearl Gem and Blessing and Tree Song. 3 groups of 10 Dryads, and then a group of 6 Kurnoth Hunters with Kurnoth Greatsword. So I'm imagining basically wants to do is like set up the perfect charge turn, and just like absolutely slap you.
It's interesting that there's no Gladius on the Spirit of Dirthu. Like
what did he trade? He traded for Arcane Tome on the Arch Revenant.
Yeah, it feels sort of like maybe I don't know. Whenever I looked at taking the Spirit of Dirthu, I always have the Gladius on him because I just feel like he's not worth his points at that. But obviously, the Lemoys are very, very good players, so like he's definitely figured something out here.
Yeah, I think he played this at LVO, and he says that he's definitely playing the kind of like setting up the perfect charge phase and then just like dunking on something essentially. And then Dirthu can be like harassment the entire game, or anything could be harassment the entire game, just like teleport in.
When he can also make you fight last with just a stomp. So yeah,
it's pretty good. Cool. Next list, John Zoshak,
Morphan.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, so this is the ones that are bringing back extra guys from the Soul Render. He only has one Soul Render, which is very interesting, considering his whole list is kind of based around bringing guys back. A Killian King with all the usual stuff, including the Void Chill Darkness for the -1 to hit. And then an Eidolon Aspect of the Storm, which is like kind of crazy, like when you first see it, but then when you think about it, it hands out +1 to wound on his absurd amount of thralls and Namarti in general. So it doesn't work on the mounts, but he has only has Ishlian Guard, so it doesn't really matter. He's got 3 10 packs of Reavers, a big block of Namarti, 30 block of thralls, and then 1 Ishlian Guard, which are the ones that have the ethereal save, and they're +1 to save on the charge. And then the Leviathan for just handing out, better save, making them more durable. And yeah, it's all in a battle reg, so it's doing a decent amount of recursion. It's a very different list,
Yeah.
I think I might have taken an extra Soul Render and dropped the Ishlian Guard, but then you kind of lose. You don't have a lot of speed on the army other than the aspect of the Storm and the King. So I can see it as well, but
yeah. John brought this list to, or maybe not exactly, but very similar list to LVO. He went 4-1, and the only loss he had was to Tom Guan.
Okay.
So that's very good. I know that for this list, he's definitely using those Ishlian Guard as like a fast hammer. He's just like pinning you with them.
Oh, interesting. I mean,
those are the ones that have like the ethereal save, right, on the charge?
Yeah, they're not usually used as a hammer, but I guess
fast anvil. Sorry, fast
anvil. Got it. Yeah. That they absolutely are. And if they charge in, you could tag something on the end, and then you get you're rocking a 3-up ethereal, which is pretty good.
Yeah. It's really good.
Alex says
he also not only uses the Eidolon as a buff piece for +1 to wound, but it's also kind of a fast anvil too. Like it's a lot of wounds on a 3-up save.
Yeah, now that the points have come down considerably, like it's come down I think over 100 points at this point. I can see it. Yeah. It's an awesome model. Alex says I wish I was playing this list. I think he means about the Bloodtooths, right?
Yeah, I think so. Next up, we've got Jonathan Jerzak, who's running Stormcast Eternals, which it looks like I don't know a lot about Stormcast, but it's got a lot of adjudicators.
It's the army that you and I know the least about, and it's like maybe the most popular army.
The problem is that I get such War Scroll fatigue because there's just so much stuff, and someone always has like one special thing in each army, and I just don't know what this does. So I know what adjudicators do. They've got a lot of shots, and they every hit that they get is 2 hits,
right?
Which is really good. And then he's got 3 units of Annihilators. 2 of them are Meteoric Grandhammers. These are going to be popping down from Deep Strike and trying to charge in and deal a whole bunch of damage. Then he's got 1 unit of Long Strike Crossbows, which 30-inch range. They do mortal wounds on 6s, I think.
Yep, 2 mortal wounds on 6s, and they're rocking -2 rend. So even if they don't get you with that, they're pretty good.
Yeah, so that'll hit you pretty hard. I don't really know what any of the heroes do. I think the Incantor is going to have an auto unbind, right?
Yep. And Incantor? Yeah, I think that's right. And then I know the Relictor is the priest and the Translocation is the 3-up, move them anywhere on the board. High Priest command trait, I believe, is the reroll on it. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Stormcast. I mean, the likelihood is that most people know it at least as good as we do.
Speaking of not knowing armies very well, Joseph Tsai, Nighthaunt.
I can do this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So Emerald Host is the one at the end of the battle round. You pick, I think it's 1 plus D3 units, and on a 2-up they take D3 mortal wounds. So it can just be good because you can't really deny it.
I think they pick units at the start of the game, and then at the end of each battle round.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Yep, I think it's 1 plus D3 units that they get to pick. Yeah, and then at the start of the game, and then at the end of the battle round, I think that's what I was saying, but maybe I'm trying to go fast, and so maybe I'm skipping over stuff.
Right. It's a good thing I interrupted you and slowed it all down. Yeah.
So, Guardian of Souls, he hands out +1 to wound. And he's got, Shade Mist. I can't remember which spell that is. Shaman of the Chilled Lands, everyone knows. But, oh man. They changed it. Midnight Tome is different than it used to be. But anyway, I'll come back to that in a second. Chaos Cruciator is the -1 damage in a bubble around him. So you'll likely see him surrounded by a bunch of stuff. Lady Ollander is the named character, of course. She can shoot mortal wounds at a distance. She has 2 spells, 2 unbinds. And then you've got Kurdos, who is like the best beat stick in the whole army by a country mile. And a Spirit Torment for bringing back 3 wounds or 3 worth of wounds at the end of each combat phase. So if they're out of combat, they can bring back a lot of guys because they don't have to be in combat to do it or anything like that. He's got you'll notice he has a lot of heroes, and he's probably got a lot of units as well, because Nighthaunt want to be charging everything to get all their different debuffs, which do stack, by the way. So he's got 6 Spirit Hosts, which are a bodyguard unit as well. I think they're on a 2-up bodyguard. 10 Grimghast Reapers, which are infantry, anti-horde. They get an extra attack against, I think it's units with 5 or more. I could be wrong. 5 Hex Wraiths, mobile. They're pretty hitty, and they're also decently, with their 4-up ethereal save, they're pretty good in general. And then the 5 Craven Throne Guard. Those are probably there for the battle tactic. And what was I going to mention about the Hex Wraiths? There was something I was thinking about. Oh, yeah, Nighthaunt in general, by the way. Oh, right. Thank you, Lodivicus. Shade Mist is -1 to wound roll against a unit. So you pick them and you say, you're -1 to wound. Assuming you get it off. And the one thing that should be mentioned about Nighthaunt is they do have the 5-up ward. They can add +1 to their ward in the shooting phase or in the combat phase. So it wouldn't work against Ogre's charge, for example. But if you're, say, shooting them with crossbows and you get the 2-up mortal wounds, they can activate it when they're chosen to be attacked. But obviously they don't have the +1 to their save general one, so that's why they have that instead. And then
also the Midnight Tome is a auto casting an endless spell with a casting roll of 12.
Right. Yeah, it's totally different than it was in 2.0. I don't. And then you got Suffocating Gravetide and 4 Mirnmoor Banshees, and another unit of 4 Mirnmoor Banshees. Good Lord, I couldn't say that. They used to be. It doesn't matter what they used to be, actually. They're pretty killy. I can't remember what they do now. But was it?
Are there like a spell?
They used to be +1 to their unbinds. They could unbind specifically.
Oh, but... I got it. It's you can roll 2d6 each time an enemy wizard successfully casts a spell that is not unbound and chooses for the effect of the spell to apply to a unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit, or when an endless spell finishes a move within 6 inches of this unit, add 1 to the roll if it has 3 or more models, if the roll is greater than the casting. So basically they get to try for an unbind on something that targets something wholly within 12 of them, or an endless spell that moves within 6 of them.
Right.
With a +1 if there are 3 or more models.
Yeah, I forgot. And that's way better than they used to be. I like it. In the whole army moves 8 inches. So, and the whole army retreats and charges. And the whole army denies you using Inspiring Presence when you're within 3 inches of them. So it's a really cool combo. It's a really fun army. And I'm glad to see that someone's playing it.
Nice. Next up is Justin Ettinger, which I'm going to speed run this one because it's very similar to a lot of the other Sylvaneth lists. It's Heartwood. It's got Spellcasting Savant for the Warsong Revenant General that is a Warsinger. It's got Belthanos. It has a Branch Witch with the Vespral Gem, Verdur's Harmony, and Verdant Blessing. It's got 10 Dryads, 5 Tree Revenants, a group of 6 Great Swords for Kurnoth. It's got Spite Swarm Hive to make charges better, 6 Spite Rider Lancers, which are not the recursion ones. They're the, I think, They're better on the charge.
Yeah.
And then 10 Spite Revenants,
Mhm.
which, what do those do?
They're just like cheap chaff that are pretty killy. I think they do 6s to our mortal wounds. And yeah, they're only 80 points for 5. So 2 wounds each.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's that list.
That's that.
Next up is Kenrick Block.
Ew, gross. Just kidding. He's one of our good friends, friend of the channel, huge help to the channel. King's Gits. So he's got the reroll on the recursion, bringing them back. Fungoid Cave Shaman, who can't be shot outside. And then the Moonface Moppet on him with Merciless Blizzard. I actually really like this list. I was talking about it with him earlier. And I was like making suggestions, and he's like, "Well, this is why I did this." And I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant. That's really good." Madcap Shaman, Clammy Hand, so he's bringing back 2, up to 2 per one of his turns. Squig Boss, which is awesome, as spoken about earlier. With Scragrot, as spoken about earlier. 15 Bounders, 36 Squig Herd, and 2 units of 20 Stabas, and 6 Sneaky Snufflers for the ward and possibly extra attacks. Gobblepalooza, because they're awesome. Andorian Acolytes and 2 Battle Regs, which puts this at 4 or 5 drops. I can't remember.
Probably 4.
Probably.
Because a Fungoid and a Madcap.
Oh, yeah. It would have to be because there's 2 Battle Regs, right? So, 4 drops, and it's dope. It's super cool. And it's 1940 points.
I'm calling it now. Kenrick this is going to be the tournament that Kenrick goes positive. I know it. I know it. I can feel it in my blood.
I can feel it in me bones, Annie.
Ooh, blood and bones.
Yep. The storms are brewing. Okay.
Next up is Kevin Hetmansky, Big Wah. He's the only Big Wah in this tournament, actually.
I believe it's pronounced Big Wah.
Oh, Big Wah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Big Wah.
Now you know.
As in the Waluigi. Big Wah. He's got the Inspired Triumph at how many points? 1990 points. So maybe he's going to get
almost
it. Probably
never
not.
getting it. Yeah, unless he's playing at 2,000 points. But...
Grand Strategy Wah, which is just a hero. The general or a battle line in enemy territory at the end of the game.
Yep.
Grand then Orc Gridnaught Shaman. Sorry.
Grand Strategy Wah, I believe.
Wah. Sorry, that's right. Wah.
Thank you.
Weirdknob Shaman has got Shaman of the Chilled Lands and the great big green hand of Gork. He's basically got like the standard big wall loadout. He's got Weirdknob Shaman that can cast Blizzard and Hoarfrost and teleport. He's got a Swamp Crawler Shaman with Potgrot to give poison to the 1 unit of Bolt Boys that's here. Or there's 2 actually. Wait. No, there's just 1. There's just 1. I'm going crazy. I think the spacing is messing with me.
I think this is done in War Scroll Builder, and it's just harder to read.
Yep. That Shaman knows Levitate. He's got 1 War Chanter to issue up +1 damage to one of the Iron Jaws units. A War God Prophet for the Stare. He's got glowing tattoos so that he's a 4-up ward. And it knows Hoarfrost as well. Gobsprak for the Spicy Unpines. And just to be a Cruel Boys unit for the tactic. Orc Megaboss, which is going to be issuing 2 commands a phase, I think, if it wants to.
Yep.
It's got Destroyer for extra damage once per battle. He's got a unit of 5 Brutes, another unit of 5 Brutes, a unit of 10 Hard Boys, a unit of 6 Gorgruntas, and a unit of 6 Bolt Boys, which are going to be getting poison from the Shaman. He's got Geminids of Ulgish, which is pretty cool. He's going to be shutting off commands on a 2-up for everything that it flies over. And then there's going to be an Iron Jaws Fist, Andorian Acolytes, and Command Entourage. And another Iron Jaws Fist and Vanguard. So it's a lot of drops. But this is like...
Twice I lost where I was on that because of this list format.
It's a lot. It's very spaced out and weird,
so,
but... Yeah, this is going to be a big wall castle that if you go near it, it's going to really punish you, and it's going to be able to score all of its battle tactics pretty easily. So,
by the way, a lot of people don't know this, and so just as a public service announcement, the app is free to use. You don't have to subscribe to Warhammer Plus to use the app, totally for free. So,
Yep.
Yippers.
Next up, we've got Curtis.
Thomas Slickers is a great name for a club, by the way.
Yeah. I think I played this list in RTT against him in Bellingham. He's got Reaper's Vengeance, which is more blood type when a hero dies, overshadow, so he wants his battle line to be there and yours to not be there.
Okay.
He's got a Bloodmaster, which is going to be issuing Fight First to Blood Letters, Killer Instinct, which I think is the push prayer. Slaughter Priest, which has Blood Sacrifice for extra Blood Tithe, and that's the general. Scarbrand, and no, it's not the same list actually. He's got Scarbrand, who we all know and love, and then he's got Bellicor, who we all know and don't love. And 10 Blood Reavers, 10 Blood Reavers, 10 Blood Reavers, so 30 total in minimum size units for extra Blood Tithe, and then a big block of 30 Blood Letters, just to be a big old hammer. Then he's got Claws of Karanak for the pre-game move, and 5 Flesh Hounds for an extra Unbind. And then he's got the Hex Scorcher Skulls, which are going to be like anti-magic tech, and it looks like he's going to be 2-drop. 1970 points, so he's going to be shutting down, I think, probably the majority of the tournament's triumph.
By far.
Yeah. And he's indomitable, so +1 to wound once per game. So, yeah.
Is he ever? And I'm sorry, Ludovicus, I did not see your comment until just now. He said, notably, Banshees use the casting value when they unbind, not what you roll to cast. So that's a really good point, and I did not know that. So thank you.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good. That'll be really good against... actually, that's very good against probably...
like
Seraphon.
Yeah.
So
anything that's got like an insane amount of casting value or ability rather, like Zeech even. Like you get those double 6 rolls on the or whatever, you get a 6 on your Lord of Change, and then he's rolling out a 13 with nothing else, and then you're just like, well, your spell is actually just a 5 to cast, so looks like I beat it. You know, really cool. That's a good piece of tech.
Yeah, and Deliverance is casted on a 7, so on average you are unbinding Deliverance because it's probably going to target something close to you. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Huh. You get 2 chances if there's like overlapping bubbles, I wonder. It's probably worded so that you can't. But...
yeah, probably, right? Like you couldn't try and unbind and then also unbind. You can't unbind twice, so I don't know. That's a good question, but should we go to Bloodtooths?
Actually, I think you do get 2 shots at it.
Really?
Yeah, because the wording... Sorry, it just says the wording is you can roll 2d6 each time an enemy wizard successfully casts a spell that is not unbound and chooses for the effect of the spell to apply to a unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit.
It's written down so you specifically do get it.
Yeah, it's per unit.
Yeah.
So you 2 kicks of the can, so that's very good, actually.
Well, it'd be 3 kicks at the can because you can try and unbind it, and then you can just do that. Like
100%.
And
I mean, I would probably save my unbinds for like buff spells of some kind.
Right.
And then you actually have a pretty good chance of unbinding it. Yeah. Huh.
Now, I don't know if you would get 2 kicks at the can. Like, we'd have to read the FAQ. Maybe there's something in there about, but
yeah. Cool.
Right?
With the Banshee's ability?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you could do it twice. I know it's not an unbind, but...
yes, if there is it depends on if there's an FAQ, because like rules is written, I see it as 2 kicks at the can.
I do too. Yeah, but that's what I was kind of saying. I think you'd have to look up the FAQ. So hopefully this very astute Night Hunt player will know their FAQ. But do we want to do?
There's an FAQ. Sorry.
There is an FAQ.
Yeah, it says once per spell cast. So
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But like that,
so good.
It's still really good because like you can also like that way you can have them in 2 different sections, so it's not like they can even just put it somewhere where they're not. You know?
Yeah.
And they're like decently hitty too. Like they're no slouches. So yeah, I think that list is one of the more interesting lists in the entire tournament, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that one does.
Me too.
Do you want to move on to the next one?
Certainly, it is Kyle Pearson with Bloodtooths.
So he's got a Maw Crusher. He's got the same grand strat that everyone takes. He's got Mega Bossy command trait. destroyer Minen, so he's just going to be super hitty. Triple issuing commands. 2 war chanters, another mega boss that has fasten, so it's going to be super fast. And then 6 pigs, 3 pigs, 6 pigs. Yeah, gross. It's just a lot of. It's going to hit super, super hard.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, because he's going to be doing mighty destroyers for a bunch of his stuff, and spicy. Cool. Next up is Logan Hansen.
Local legend, Logan Hansen.
Local legend. More Stormcast. I'm sorry that we can't.
We'll just apologize in advance.
We just simply do not understand. I don't even know what a Knight Zephyros is.
Which one?
A Knight Zephyros? I don't know what that is.
Zephyros is the guy who flies.
Is it?
I think.
He could tell me that, and I'd believe him. So.
I'm almost positive he's the foot hero with the bow.
Gotcha.
But yeah, apologies in advance.
He's got a Knight Incanter that knows Lightning Blast and all of the Primal Frost spells. The Knight Relictor with the Translocation again. He's got 4 Dracothian Guard Tempestors, which I think are the shootier versions of like the riding. Yeah.
Knight Zephyros is not the guy with wings.
Okay.
He's kind of like Neve Black Talon. I think it might be like the regular version, but 5 wounds, 3 up save, and just 3 attacks with a bolt pistol and 6 attacks with the Tempest axes. 3s and 3s -1/1 damage. Can run and still shoot, and it can instead of picking this unit to make a normal move, you can say that it will ride the Winds Etheric. So it can do the Winds Etheric thing, where it's moving around. So it's very fast and mobile. But,
yeah. Okay, cool.
Sorry.
No worries. He's got 5 Vindictors. He's got 4 of the Dracothian Guard Tempestors, which are going to be doing the like Storm Blast, Mortal Wound things. And I think they have other shooting attacks too. And then he's got the 4 of the Dracothian Guard Fulminators, which also do the Storm Blast. But on the charge, the Riders' weapons are damage 3 instead of damage 1. So they will just absolutely shred something if they get the charge.
Right.
He's got another unit of 5 Vindictors. He's got a unit of Vanguard Hunters, which I think can just teleport in the movement phase. He's got a unit of Long Strike Crossbows, which we said do mortal wounds on 6s, and then our Ren 2. And then he's got 3 Evocators on Celestial Dracolines, and those can cast a spell and bind a spell maybe. But I know that at the end of the combat phase, they basically have like a for each one of them, they can roll a number of dice, and there's like mortal wounds to a unit within 3 inches. So, yeah. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Louis Philippe.
Never heard of this jerk.
Yeah. He's running Misthaven, which is the move in the hero phase if there's no enemy units within 12 inches.
By the way, he's a friend of ours. He's been on the channel. Just in case. Sometimes I forget how many people that we don't know watch. You know what I mean? There's always new people watching. So he's a good friend of ours. I've known him for, I don't know, 6-7 years now. Very good guy.
Yeah. He's a Misthaven D6-inch move for non-mounted units that are outside of 12 inches in the hero phase, or in your hero phase, and then for mounted units, it's 2d6-inch move. Mm-hmm. It's got an Alchemite Warforger, which knows Blizzard, Master Ballistics for +3 inches to shooting attacks. It's got another Alchemite Warforger that also knows Blizzard, because it wasn't enough for just one. He's got a Steam Tank Commander, which, when it issues all-out attack, something is special. Let me 1 second.
Is it like I don't know.
Commander
Cities is not my thing for sure. Thank you, Maballs, for the generic Neve. Very good. I can't remember what the guy with the wings is in the lantern that I was thinking of.
So the Steam Tank Commander can issue the same command up to 2 times in the same phase.
Oh, cool.
And then if it's issued to a Steam Tank, no command point is spent the second time.
Oh, neat.
But he doesn't have Steam Tanks, or I guess he could issue to himself.
That's true.
So, yep.
But then the second time, oh, I see. So he gives like all out attack to something else, right? And
Yeah.
then he does the second time to himself, and it doesn't cost a command point. So he's just like, yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
Yep.
Azeros, thank you. Zephyros, Azeros. Yeah. I
Yep.
can't be expected to keep track of these things.
He's got a free guild Cavalier Marshal, which is going to be he's going to be granting. Wait, does he have any Cavaliers? He does. He has Cavaliers. Whenever it charges, Cavaliers within 12 inches can reroll their charges. Then free guild Marshal on Griffin with the Sigmarite Warhammer. So this is going to be a super slappy flying monster.
Right.
That I think has 2 orders that it can issue, or that it has instead of 1.
Right.
He's got a unit of 10 Free Guild Steel Helms, 5 Vindictors, another 10 Steel Helms, 20 Fusiliers, which are probably going to be hanging out near the Warforger for the 6s to Mortal Wounds, and then 5 Tree Events just to kind of teleport around the board.
It's on
5
the War
Cavaliers,
Scroll. Yep.
and the obligatory Command Corps.
Nice.
So pretty well-rounded list, I would say. It doesn't really lean into any one thing super heavily.
Right.
Interested to see how it does.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
Louis Philippe is a good player. He played.
Yeah.
He's been playing cities and Humies this whole time, and he went 4-1 at was it Cake or Death? No. It was
Sparkle
something-
Party.
Sparkle Party, right? This is before the new book came out, so yeah, very good player. When they were bad. How much do we have left? I've got a hard out in 30 minutes.
How many lists do we have left?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about Mark Sullivan's list
Sure.
and I'll tell you how many left there are.
Cool. I'll breeze through this because this is another Fuithin with 2 Bloodthirsty Shivers, so it's kind of similar. It's got the King, as you would expect. It's got Void Chill Darkness. It's got a Tide. This is the only different part, really, is probably that it has a Tidecaster with Seed of Tides, which is for teleporting units around, only heroes, I should mention. And then it's got Lotan for +1 to wound to everything, including mounts. 2 units of Thralls, so basically they're probably going to be there for as a speed bump, but also very good at killing hordes. The Leviathan for +1 to save, and also just really killy, and it buffs everything around it. He does not. You can actually take a second mount trait for free in Deepkin because it specifically says you get one for your for each. You get one for your what's the name of the mount for the King? And it says, and you get one for your Leviathan. So he actually could have taken an extra mount trait. But yeah, 1980 points, 2 drops. It's cool, you know. Fuithin goodness.
Nice. So there's 25 lists after this one to go.
So yeah, we're not.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not happening. We'll do our best, I guess. You know.
Yeah. So next up is Matt Beasley, who's bringing Starborn.
Dracothian's
He's coming to
Tale.
step on your dreams.
Yep.
And
Dracothian's Tail is a little different, though. It's not the triple redeploy skinks. It's the
Yep.
teleport in and ruin your dreams. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
a little different. So he's got a Skink Starseer with speed of 1 chi, which is going to be doing double move on something.
Yep.
He's got a Slan Starmaster, which is his general, Lord of Celestial Resonance, so he's getting 2 each time he casts or unbinds something. Space Folder Stav
The
is...
save is I don't.
I've got it here. Once per turn at the end of your movement phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you can say they will guide the arrival of the Celestial Reinforcements. If you do so, the next friendly Starborn unit to be set up on the battlefield can be set up outside of 7 inches instead of 9 inches. So you can drop something
Right.
outside of 7.
Yeah, Eric was actually rocking this for a while too.
Yeah.
It's really scary when you're bringing in the
Rapidon
skinks
charters,
on
yeah.
Rapidons. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Everything else is pretty standard. He does have the spell enhancement, and he's got a block of 20 warriors for extra, hardiness, and yeah, it's cool.
Pretty
Okay.
spicy.
Pretty spicy, and he's definitely one of the players to look out for.
Yeah. Next
Matt-
up is Matt Sleeman.
Yeah, he's got Harvest
Lemon?
Boon, which I believe is the one with the bugs are become battle line.
Yep. 6 Spite Rider Lancers, which are better on the charge. 6 Revenant Seekers, which they have
Ooh.
good recursion.
They do.
5 Tree Revenants for teleporting around. He's got a Vengeful Skull Root, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that does actually.
The tree that floats around and it does mortal wounds. It's
Okay.
It's kind of cool. I really wanted to try it myself, and I'm, it's so cool to see it on the battlefield in general, actually. And then he's got the 5 Gossamer Archers for Pretty cool. 7-inch charge. Thanks, Lativicus.
Yeah.
Very good.
Cool. Next up, we've got Matthew Leckman.
Cool.
who is-
Maggotkin.
Yeah, the first Maggotkin list.
Finally something
So he's
different.
Befouling Host, which I think is an additional tree, effectively normal.
Yeah.
He does Corrupt Arcane Nexus. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Bloodthirsty is the reroll a charge.
Yep, he's got the Glotkin for the counter charge. He's got a Great Unclean one for... That's going to be like an actual hammer, kind of. And it's going to be generating more contagion points for him. Don't know what the Witherstaff is. Fleshy Abundance, I don't know either. This is a problem. I don't know what Morbidex or Orgots do anymore.
Morbidex, I believe, is the super... He's the most... Oh, no, maybe not. I can't remember either. They're all the same model. Orgots, Morbidex, and the other one. One of them is particularly fighty, but I actually don't think it's Morbidex. I can't remember, but before I forget, Sean reminded me it's D3 mortals or D6 mortals from the wood, the tree endless spell if it's next to a wood. And I think it's next to overgrown terrain as well, Sean, but correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember. And Matthew Leckman, that's awesome. Thanks for joining us. This is your list. Yes. Here, why don't you keep going?
So Morbidex
Yeah.
slaps pretty hard. On his top bracket, he can be doing like 5 attacks at Ren 1, 2 damage each, as well as 5 attacks at Ren 2, 3 damage each. And then the key thing is that he heals. So at the end of the Battle Shock phase, he heals half of the wounds that have been allocated to him. And he's 12 wounds on a 3-up.
Jeez.
And at the start of the hero phase, you can return 1 slain model to 1 friendly Nurgling Swarm unit within 7
Right.
lists, which doesn't appear that there is any Nurglings in this list, but he could always spawn some in.
Yep. We can bring him in.
And then Orgots is...
He's the real beat stick.
Orgots can certainly hit very hard. Yeah, he's a beat stick. And then whenever he makes a ward roll of 6, you pick an enemy unit within 3 inches, and they suffer a mortal wound.
Oh, cool.
And then he can issue a command to a mortal Maggotkin unit without the command being spent once per turn.
Cool. That's
So
really
yeah,
cool.
basically he's just got like 3 big hero beat sticks,
Yeah.
lots of contagion points.
You're not even talking. You didn't even include the Glotkin, which is absolutely a beat stick as well.
It's a beat stick too,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
4
4 beat sticks, but then not a lot of chaff, but you can bring them in because you're Nurgle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 Plague Bearers, some Beasts of Nurgle, and yeah. So one important thing to note is that if he summons in his like Sloppity Bob Piper,
Right.
I think Morbidex and Orgots are both mortals, so you can pile in towards them.
Wait, say that again.
So
Because it's
Sloppity
only
Bob
demons that you
Pipers-
can't do.
Sorry?
It's only demons that you can't do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I can't remember. I think Glotkin used to be considered. He definitely used to be considered mortal, but I don't know. Maybe he has the keyword now too, because it's like almost like a pseudo demon prince.
The Glotkin's a demon.
It's got a demon now too. Okay, because I remember it didn't used to because it didn't have a ward save.
No, never mind. Sorry, I'm wrong. It's a mortal.
Okay. Cool.
Completely wrong. so he's probably not going to be summoning in Bile Pipers, I would assume. Or if he
I guess
is,
not. Yeah.
He's tying you up with Plague Bearers, maybe. But yeah, this is a beat stick list for sure. Or as beat stick as Nurgle can
It's
be.
awesome. It's actually really cool. And yeah, my hat's off to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Matthias, another jerk.
Another jerk.
Just kidding.
So he's Bloodlords, which is going to be Bloodletters when they're on the charge. Do mortal wounds in addition on 5s as well as 6s to hit.
Right.
Which is why he's got a big old block of 30 Bloodletters. He's got Be'lakor, he's got a Slaughter Priest, or 2 Slaughter Priests, Bloodmaster, Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury with the standard loadout, Blood Secretor, Plaza Karanak, 3 units of 10 Blood Reavers. He's run this list quite a lot. He ran it at LVO, I think. He ran it at most of the tournaments that we've seen before. So
Yep. He kind of at least pioneered the whole Bellacorn in a corn army kind of deal.
Belacorn.
Bellacorn, yeah, exactly. I like how Mabal said the big guy is just juiced with choss. I think it means chaos pet. Either way, I love it. I kind of hope he meant to say choss.
He's got choss.
He's just got choss, baby. Yeah. Not a lot to say about the corn list of Matthias's, really.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when we get a certain ways down and the lists are similar enough, it's like, what more can you say?
Yeah, exactly. You already covered that it's Bloodlords instead, so... and obviously, most people know this, but Bellacor's in there to get magical dominance turn 1.
And to shut down a unit for a turn.
And to shut down a unit, but like if he wasn't... excuse me, if you couldn't get the battle tactic, I think you'd see a lot of things change, Maybe not.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a little bit of a beat stick, too.
Very true. Matthias is someone to look out for as well.
Yeah.
And then next up is Max Steel.
Max Steel. Coolest name ever.
Man.
Yeah.
He's Blood Gullet, so I already love this man. Blood Gullet is basically all of your
100%.
butchers they know 2 spells and they can cast twice instead of once. So he's got 2 butchers, so he's going to be he's got 4 casts there. Spellcasting Savant, so he just wants to keep his Tyrant alive, actually, not his butchers. Triumph is inspired, and he's at 1990 points, so probably not going to get it. 1 butcher has Gruesome Trophy Rack, so it's just a 12-inch bubble of +1 to hit against heroes and monsters. It knows Greasy Deluge and Merciless Blizzard. The other butcher knows Blood Feast and Hoarfrost. Blood Feast is just +1 attack to an ogre. Greasy Deluge is -1 to hit against something within 18 inches. The Tyrant has Killer Reputation, so he has 2 big names. It's Death Cheater and Fate Seeker, so it just means he's on a 3-up save characteristic and a 5-up ward, so he's just super tough. Battle line, he's got 2x6 Ogre Gluttons and 1x8 Iron Guts. So a reinforced unit of Iron Guts. And then he's got 2 Gorger Maw Packs, which is pretty cool. And then it looks like he's going for Mortal Wound output through his Endless Spells, where he's got Ravanax, Suffocating Gravetide, and Quicksilver Swords.
Very cool.
Pretty cool list. Yeah.
Lidificus says he awaits Matthias's return to Skaven, and Dale says everyone wants Matthias to play Skaven. It's true. It's how you know he's not as good a person as he used to be, because he stopped playing Skaven, because all Skaven players are good people, automatically. Doesn't matter if they're actually bad people, they become good people when they play Skaven. Little known fact about Skaven. So we're moving on to Michael Hammond. I don't know.
So
he's playing Blood Tubes.
He's at the bottom of the points. He won the points race, basically.
Oh
He's
my
at 1930 points, and he chose double triumph. So bloodthirsty, which means he gets 2 rerolls for charging. Right. He's got 2 mega bosses on Maw Crushes. 1 has Master of Magic and a Nullstone icon, so he can reroll the Unbinding roll.
Right.
And yeah, it's pretty nice.
So he could reroll 3 charges in a turn.
Yep.
That's
in one
so
turn,
crazy.
Yeah.
This man's a madman, and I'm here for it.
And then one of the Maw Crushes has Fasten, so he's going to be able to move twice.
You can do a normal move in the hero phase. You cannot retreat because it's a move only.
Yep, and Destroyer for the extra damage once per battle. 2 War Chanters, 1 with Kill a Beat, 1 with Fix and Beat. I think Kill a Beat is a 3-6 charge, and then Fix and Beat is a heal.
Yep, Fix and Beat is definitely a heal.
And then he's got 10 Brutes, and then 10 Battle Line Pigs, 3 Battle Line Pigs. Yeah, this is another all-in Iron Jaws list.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very bad for the person that has to face like 4 of this list essentially this tournament.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
moving on.
It's not our problem.
Michael Slemon.
Or wait,
did we already do
that? Nope.
Oh, we did Matt Slemon. Okay.
Yeah.
Skaven. Want to do this one?
Why, certainly. I was just going to make sure. So Kill a Beat is pick 1 enemy unit within 12 inches, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target that enemy unit. So, yeah.
My bad.
That's the
Alex said in chat too.
I was like, I know that's wrong. Anyway. +1 to hit. Thank you. Alex, the delay in the chat, it just popped up. Anyway. So we've got Skaven, Grand Strategy Warpstone Weapon Masters. I have no idea what this is. I know it's not great because it's a Skaven one that is not... anyway, it doesn't matter. So we got the Bombardier, Please.
It's if you have 3 or more friendly Master Clan or Clan Scryer heroes from your starting army on the battlefield.
Oh, I see. So he's gone the opposite way of the Pestilence one. Okay, actually, that's not a bad choice, assuming he has the right. Yeah, he's got a bunch. Anyway, okay. So Warlock Bombardier, which you don't see very often, but I think he's good for his points. He just doesn't buff the cannons, and he's got the spell enhancement clearly because he's got more warp power and he has Merciless Blizzard on it. Screaming Bell, Grey Seer with Command Trait Master of Magic, which I really like. It's full rerolls for both casting and unbinding, and the Screaming Bell is +2 natively at full wounds, so only to cast actually, but it's pretty good. Death Frenzy, Skitter Leap, and then another Screaming Bell, Death Frenzy, Flaming Weapon, and then a regular Grey Seer on foot. So he will have 3 claw steps ahead, which we explained earlier. Hoarfrost, Merciless Blizzard on them, and then another Bombardier with Merciless Blizzard and more warp power. That's kind of cool, man. I'm actually kind of starting to... Until I get to the Storm Fiends, and Storm Fiends are not good. They're just too expensive for their points, and against a good player, they're just able to shut them down. But it's awesome. I really like it. He's just leaning into Scryer and Grey Seers all the way down. 3 units of Clan Rats, so he's got a bunch of screens, and they do have good movement because they have the retreat and charge. And Help at Abomination, 180 points with, of course, the Toughened Sinews, which is... It's funny how, like, when they first came out, people were like, oh, yeah, you could choose this and that. But I was like, no, Toughened Sinews first every time. And that's definitely seems to be the case. Warp Lightning Vortex and Malevolent Maelstrom, which is quite good when you have all the Screaming Bells with the +2 to cast. It's really great. It's cool. Fun list. Battle Regiment and a Warlord. So he's got... which is how we got the extra Skaven enhancement. Yeah. 4 Skaven, Rob. Last he scored 4 Skaven? I don't remember. That's a good question. We're truly living in a golden age, Dale. I agree. That's almost 10% of the whole shebang. It's like 7-8% of the whole tournament is Skaven. So, yeah. I salute you. So we got Mike Steele. I almost said something else. Gloomspite gets. Kings gets. Chasing the Moon is gonna... I'm assuming he has a Trog boss. Yeah, he does, with the command trait Alpha Trog to make him a monster. This is a different list, at least. And the Glowy Howitz for the nice word save on him. And because that's his general, it works well with the Chasing the Moon command trait, which is keeping him in the light of the bad moon. And he has to be alive at the end of the game, but it's really not hard on so many wounds on a really good save. You could get unlucky, but I think it's a really solid choice. Scragrod, of course, and a Squig boss with the Leering Git Shield, which is -1 to hit him, and then if you... What is it? If you kill him, that unit's like -1. Whatever unit kills him is like -1 to hit for the rest of the game. So that's pretty... Actually, it's an interesting choice because the Squig boss is so easy to kill. And then the Beast Skewer Killbow. He's got the Cruel Boys Regiment of Renown. That's fun. And then the Fellwater Trogoths, which become battle line with the Trogoth General. A triple reinforced Squig Herd, which is awesome. And he can get that on the... They become battle line because Scragrot is is the general in addition.
Double reinforced Squig.
Double reinforced, exactly. Yep. And it becomes battle line, which it wouldn't be without Scragrot.
Right, it's just 24, isn't it? Not 36.
Oh, is it?
For 420 points.
400.
Because 420 divided by 3 is.
Oh, that's right. They're 140 points each. That's right.
I can't do math.
No worries. They're triple reinforced, and then you got the Rock Guts as well. So yeah, he's basically only got special battle line, which is kind of the way I like to rock as well. Gobapalooza, Grincrack's Loon Court, so you can put the fight when they die on Moon Clan only. So I think that will only go on the Squig Herd here.
Getting murdered in the chat. Just immediately, that's 36. And then another, that's 36.
It's
I'm
live,
sorry.
guys. We're like trying to rush through stuff. We got to be over in 9 minutes. So I really like this list because it's doing a lot of stuff that's different, including the Regiment of Renown. And Flame Away. We've got Natasha. She's the one rocking Alariel and Oakenbrow. It's pretty dope. Do we want to go over her list or?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's just a bunch of tree lords. Spirit of Dirthu. So the tree lords want to tie you up, give you strike last.
Yep.
Alariel can summon in some Kurnoth, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Seems like fun.
It's really cool. And then we've got Slaves of Darkness Ravagers with Nick Collins. Do we want to take a
Ravagers?
look at that?
You can bring back the cultist units as a heroic action.
Cool.
Once per cultist unit. Of course, he's got Eternus, First Blade of Prince, which is kind of interesting. With Bellicor, so basically Eternus is going to be coming back on a 6, I think, on 2d6 after he dies. And 1/2 Splintered Fang. He's got 1 Untamed Beast. He's got a unit of 3 Varangard, another unit of 3 Varangard, a unit of 5 Chaos Knights. It's very spread out all over the place, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does. He's also got Dominating Presence for being in all 4 quarters of the battlefield. Cool.
Very cool.
Next up is Nick Close.
We've got Nick Close with Flesh Eater
Old
Quartz.
Flesh Eater Quartz.
It's old Flesh Eater Quartz because it has to be. And I was talking to James about this because James is playing in a local RTT this weekend with new Flesh Eater Quartz, or he's talking about it. And I think that Dale absolutely made the right choice because, you know, when you've got like a golden ticket here. So the Arch Revenant gets the free summon guys if he's in the chair, if he's garrisoning the chair. They do have the throne is still the same thing as it is now, so no battle shock immunity within like 12 inches of it. The Crypt Haunter, you know. So this is not a specific court, by the way. It's not Hollowmorn. And Crypt Haunter Courtier, yeah, we've already said that. And then the Abhorrent Gold King on Royal Terrorgeist with the Grim Garland, which is the same thing as it is now for the -2 to your save. Gruesome Bite is re-rolling your hit rolls on the bite, so he's going to be fishing for those 6s. Oh, and the Abhorrent Archregent has a spell to add attacks to a unit, so he can actually add bite attacks. And then another Crypt Haunter Courtier. And then we've got 10 Crypt Ghouls because they used to come in 10s. Another one of that. And then we've got 9 Horrors at 110 points each. So they've actually gone up in points. And then a Royal Terrorgeist. So for more fighty action. Minus a 12-inch bubble of bring 1 model back per unit from Indrasta. +1 as if a model dies from general, bring a unit back. Run and charge fulminators. Bolt throwers versus support versus monsters. Bastion. Oh, that's your list. Sorry, I was like, wait, I don't understand about how this is applying to FEC. Yeah, absolutely. Because Dale's going to be the ringer, I believe, is why he's posting that. And then we got Ricky Fisher, and he's bringing something different. He used to bring just all trolls, and he's doing King's Gits as well. It's a much more of a mixed list. But it's nothing that we haven't talked about, and we're not going to get through anything, so I'm going to keep moving. We don't know enough about Stormcast Eternals, so sorry, Ringer McRinger. Oh, that's Dale. Okay, now I get why. Okay, that's what he put. He put it in the chat, so check it out. We've got Robin Miller. Skaven again. The Warbringer with Flaming Weapon is interesting. Gracier on Screaming Bell. Master Molder, which is really cool. Oh, another Master Molder. Giant Rats for Battle Line. Rat Ogres, Clan Rats. So he's got a little bit of everything. He's got 2 Hellpit Abominations, but he didn't choose even one. You actually get that for free. So you actually could have added a free upgrade on your Hellpit Abomination. Might I suggest Toughened Sinews? Vermintide, Endless Spell, which is actually really interesting, and at 30 points, I think it's good. It's a cool list. Yeah. Roma Tour. Hammers
Roma's,
of Sigmar.
Another co-host of the Dudes of Sigmar.
Oh, cool.
So her big thing is that she's got the fulminators, which are going to be popping down and murdering everything.
Right.
But she really leans on the evocators on celestial dracolines.
Okay.
And those kind of do the end of the combat phase, like
Shock.
big mortal wound
Yeah,
spike, essentially. So yeah, she's running Ionis as well, which is pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see how she does.
Very cool. I love it. I love Ionis. So. And Roman is running. Is he running the same ogres list? You're okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying.
He's running my list, yeah.
Yeah, okay. and then Ryan has got Gloomspite Gits. I'm sorry, buddy. We've just done so many Gloomspite Gits. And
He
then,
is mostly he's Troggoths, at least, but yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
that's dope. Is he running Glob's Mega Mob?
King's Gates. So yeah.
I can't eat cake, Ludivicus, but it's actually my birthday this weekend. So I'm hoping to hang out if I can, and maybe possibly enter the painting competition if I can get down there. But I'll have to see. Yeah, family stuff. Okay, so we've also talked a lot about OBR and Mortis Praetorians. Should we keep moving?
Sure. Yep.
Sean is friend of the channel. Let us know, Sean, if you want us to review your list. I know you were in here earlier. We can do that super quick.
I mean, it's got a lot of that, like Spirited Earth through Warsong. Actually, there's no Belthanos. Never mind.
And he does, and I think he has the unit of 10 Gossamet Archers still, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay. He changed it.
Yep.
So that's a little different than before. We do have Tanner is running. Oh my goodness! It's Blades of Corn, and he's using a
Skullfiend Tribe. So Skullfiend Tribe is
Okay.
basically on an unmodified charge of 8. I think mortals are going to be fight first. He's got a big old squad of Skull Reapers, which are just like super slappy, pretty tough, and some Blood Reavers, Godsworn Hunt, Cockatrice, Hexgorger Skulls, Wrathax. Yeah, this is it's a spicy mortals list for sure.
Very cool. And I think Sean said nope to reviewing his list, so appreciate it. We got like 2 minutes left.
Yep.
And then we've got 2 Maggotkin lists. One is Blessed Sons, one is Befouling Host. Should we look at the Tau one real quick?
Sure. Tau is actually Drowned Men.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I think
It's
it's wrong.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah. So he's got a great and clean one. He's got Gutrot Spume, Lord of Afflictions, Rotbringer Sorcerer, one group of 10 Plague Bearers, 2 Pasquale Blight Lords, 10 Putrid Blight Kings, and then 2 groups of 3 Nurglings. So
that's a cool.
This one's not Glotkin, which is kind of interesting.
It is.
And it doesn't have any like the big, like Orgots or Morbidex or anything like that.
No,
So
it's a little.
cool.
It's like it kind of reminds me of your ogres list in a way. It's a little more variety,
Yeah.
And then we've got Thomas Bakke, who's running Mortis Praetorians OBR. I think
you skipped over Taylor as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, Taylor. Yeah.
It's okay. But
Befouling
Taylor was
Host.
the Nurgle list that went up against me in Game 5 at Kippers. He's a very good player.
Oh, cool.
He runs like a Glotkin-esque list, and yeah, he's someone to look out for as well.
Oh, awesome. And then we've got Torrance Beamish. I will open your list from Gloomspite Gits, but he's running King's Gits. Yeah, Scragrot, Bounders, Ahoy, Fellwater, Troggoth, Sneaky Snuff. He's got 2 units of Sneaky Snufflers. That's different. But other than that, it's pretty similar stuff. Will Reeves is also running Flesh Eater Courts. And that's the final list. We can talk about it.
There's one that we missed, which was a Coalesced Seraphon, but
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thomas Marr.
Oh, good for him. Here, 1 second. That's super interesting. Coatl's Claw, which is the +1 to wound on your, certain units like Croxagore and Saurus. Astrolith Bear, which is interesting, considering it's in Coalesced. Starseer, he's got the spell enhancement, and the Slan with the Ixty Grubs, which is the free reroll on 1 spell and Unbind, I believe. And Hoarfrost Empowered Celestite is an additional rend on the on Celestite weapons, so like on your Saurus Warriors, etc., or the Lancers, which he also has, the Agrodon Lancers on their melee weapons, not obviously on the mounts. 2 units of Skinks, they're good chaff. 1 single block of Saurus Warriors, and 2 Arc of Sotex, Bastillodons. That's really cool. Oh, and he's got Gotrek. Just when I thought you had a soul. Just kidding. No, that's really cool. Very chunky list. I like it. And then Will Reeves, friend of the channel, been on the channel a few times now. He's running Blister Skin, which is awesome. That's the Flayers or Battle line. They are in the new book too. Archrev, Ghoul King on foot, a Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist, or two of them on Royal Terrorgeist, and a third one on Royal Zombie Dragon. 3 units of Crypt Ghouls. What is going on? There's no Flayers in this list. That's crazy. But I guess it's for they've got a lot of movement shenanigans. They can teleport in and move stuff. I don't remember everything now, but I was looking at playing Blister Skin, or I was playing Blister Skin back in the day, only with 18 Flayers instead of the 0 that he's rocking. This is cool. Will is a very good player, and he always likes to run very very different kinds of lists. So this is awesome. Yeah. We kind of made it through everything. I know
we definitely had to rush. It was a lot.
It was a lot. Our voices are both shot, I'm sure. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
You're going to Cake or Death.
Yeah.
Come say hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. Rob, you said you might stop by at some point.
I'm going to try. Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of people that have been on the channel that are going to be there. Dale, the tournament organizer, is going to be there. And he'll be happy to talk to you endlessly. I'm sure he'll love it if you strike up a 45-minute conversation with him while he's trying to do stuff.
Yep. Smart.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be great. Thanks to everyone for sticking through with us as we did all these lists. And sorry if we didn't get to your list, if you hoped we had, or maybe you're glad because you're trying to keep some tech secret. Dale might be there, he says. I think other than Dale, everyone that's ever been on the channel is going to be there, other than maybe me. We'll see. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. And a special shout out to Cameron for hanging and doing those cool statistics. So yes, there will be pictures of cakes next week. And we'll definitely talk about the results as well as hopefully the battle scroll. But yeah, thanks to everyone for joining. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.